yeah, I'm with this, I'm just gonna lay back and I'ma drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. About to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready, let's go. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash and humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 and 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepper with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk. Steppin', that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 and 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepper with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk.
All right, y'all. Ain't no half step on Marcus J is live. We in the building, ready to have an outstanding show. We gonna have a whole lot to talk about tonight. We're gonna ask the question: should there be a baseline for decorum? We're gonna ask about that question. We're gonna have an episode of Steffisodes. We're gonna have an episode of Green Talk and a whole lot of talk in between. We're excited, and in the first half hour, we're going to have a very, very special guest making a very, very special announcement. So big show tonight. Y'all here for it. You're listening to, watching, and experiencing the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. It's called Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J, and it's live right now.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J is live. We are in the building. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us. You are experiencing the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio's Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. So we're excited. I know that I mentioned a little while ago that we got a lot to get into, and we do. So I'm not going to take a lot of time with anything other than introducing the usual suspects here. You see this brother sit across the table from me every single show, and he is my brother. He is my friend. We have our brother John Green. What's up, John? How you doing, brother? Let me see. Yeah, I don't know.
Why
I
you
don't
saying his
know. I
name
don't
like
know
that?
why it just
John
came. It just
Green.
came out,
Let me tell you.
Like,
and I
you
never
let me
introduced
tell you,
him
hold
that
on,
way.
Never
hold on.
have.
I
Yeah.
gotta tell you something.
Oh man. Well, Green Talk.
Most of my life, that is how I was introduced.
John Green.
I don't know
I
about
don't know where it
Listen,
came from, yo.
What it-
And I'm
listen,
decked out in the
when
jersey
when your-
too.
when
Really,
your-
really doing
listen,
it today.
when your last name is a color, people have a tendency to call you with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Jack
I used to
Black,
work with
John
a guy.
White.
I used to work
There
with a
you
guy,
go.
Kenny Brown. Nobody never said Kenny. It's Kenny Brown.
Kenny Brown.
Kenny Brown.
Oh,
John
okay,
Green.
okay. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a thing.
You know where I got it
Rob, my man,
from?
Rob White.
You know, I
Rob
figured
White.
it out. You know where I get it from? I'm channeling my inner Victor Newman.
Oh,
Because he don't refer to nobody. It's just their
it's
name, Jack Abbott.
always Jack Abbott.
It's always Jack Abbott.
It is always.
Brad Carlton.
They've been fighting over the same woman for 30 years. Jack Abbott. John.
Actually, you watch the show.
Did you?
He
do
watches
that?
the show. He watches the
You know
show.
I love John
He,
Abbott.
he watches the show.
Man.
There's no way you saying that and you don't watch
You
the
watch
show.
the
You
show.
watch the show. Oh man, we got
He
we
let
got
Jack know,
we got
little
some
boy.
special guests that just checked in. I'll get you shouted out here in a minute. But before we do that, you hear her wonderful, wonderful voice. She is the co-host of the show along with John Green, my sister and yours, my right hand who sits on my right side, Steph. Be ye more consistent than how I do it. Be ye. What's up, Steph? How you doing?
Always forward, brothers. You
Always
know that.
forward. Yeah,
Today is
yeah,
the beat and the bow. I'm
yeah.
back.
I see you,
Yeah,
girl.
whoever said get rid of the bow, please don't.
Yeah, nah.
Don't ever
It's
in
a
your life.
trademark.
Please don't even speak on it.
And I like the locks.
Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play. No, let me say.
Did you do the hand?
Yeah. I got real.
Yeah, you
don't play
did.
with
You
it.
did. You did. You did.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I got a little, as Michelle says, I got some hang time.
Yeah, man. I'm
You know,
digging
so
it. I'm
growing
digging it.
into it.
I'm
Doing
digging
what I
it.
can.
We getting some love from the viewers that checking us out. You know, our brother, Coach Reggie Ship, is checking in. He's saying peace to the crew. So peace to you, Coach, and whatnot. And our very, very special guest is there. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and bring in our special guest. I got another salutation that's out there though, so I'm trying to get that salutation checked out before I do that so that I can make sure. And bear with me, y'all, because I'm doing some live production here and I'm really talking to Phil so that I can get myself transitioned to my next point, where I actually, oh, I see who that is. That's our brother Tim Man. Anthony. Yeah. You know, there's certain spots where I can't actually see it. So that's what that was about. And then our sister, the Legal Eagle, is checking us out. She's saying, hey, fam, hey. You know, so our special guest is going to join us here right now. So you see the man on the screen right there. He is the inspiration of Legacy Internet Radio. My brother, partner, and friend, Jay Grizzy.
What happened? Hey, you caught me on the inhale.
I got you. What's that now?
You caught me on the inhale.
Oh, yeah. I'll catch you on that. I'll catch you on that later.
What's going on, people? What's going on, cousin? What's going on, Steppin?
Hi, Grace.
What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Got a lot going on. Congratulations on the crew. What's
Yeah.
up, cousin? Can cousin hear me? What happened? Congratulations on y'all coming back. Y'all were badly missed.
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. We appreciate it. So we actually got you here for a very specific reason, other than just because we rocks with you. You know what I mean? Like we gonna have you cut a promo today. What you cutting the promo on today, bro?
That's what I'm talking
Yeah, what you cutting the promo on today?
Well, brother. Well, if everybody, well, not everybody know because I haven't put it out there like talking about, but before the end of March, I'll be dropping a new podcast called Taking Those Shorts Podcast. You can find it anywhere where you find your favorite uh, streaming on all streaming platforms, YouTube, and for a nominal fee, you can catch the dirty version on Patreon. But it was a pleasure. I already got 9 episodes in the bag, so one of those episodes was you and Steph B. And to be honest, when you reached out today, I went back and looked at that episode, and I said, "Oh, Steph was tight."
What?
Because we was talking. I won't say. I'll put it this way.
When you started getting a little misogynistic, and I had to put it down.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if anybody wants to know,
my light skinned brother.
yes. So if anybody wants to know what Taking No Shorts is about, in essence, it's your online cocktail podcast party with me as your host, Jay Grizzly Green, aka Mr. Leave No Meat on the Bone, aka Jay Grizzo, Jay Grizzolini. Because a lot of people ask me more, like a lot of people ask me, like, what's your podcast about, right? And I get it, I do, because the way that the genre is going, it's very niched and very you have to have a specific subject to gather the audience. But in essence, mine's is like you see here. I'm laid back. I mean, it's surrounded around me as a comedian. I have comedians on. Tim Man came on. Shout out to Tim Man. His episode will be dropping real soon. And it's fun. We'll get serious sometimes, but for the most part, we try not to be misogynistic.
Oh, you try. Look, gotta make a concerted effort.
Yeah. I mean, I've grown since the last time I was in the podcast game. Yeah, I've grown up just a tad, but it was great to have you on. Come on, John. I would love for you to come on through, man, so I can give you some of my hospitality, brother.
We're gonna make it happen.
Okay.
So here's my question for you, Grizz. Talk to us about what is different. You and I, as brothers, been doing this over 20 years, but as podcasters and internet radio hosts and that sort of thing, we're into our 12th year. We're celebrating 11 years plus right now, you and I. And we've absolutely kind of been through different incarnations of, our character, to use that term loosely. So talk to us about what's going to be different from you. What is the viewers and listeners going to see from Jay Grizzy that they perhaps never saw in the past?
Right. Good question, Mark. Appreciate it. Like fairness, I think in order, because I have a very dominating personality, especially I'm hard. How my mom used to say, I'm hard on the women folk, And so what I've learned is, especially through some hard times and some tribulations, strangely enough, and women that I've come across that have educated me on how the world has changed since I'm a Gen Xer, but I still feel like I have one foot in the old world, and all of this progression that I've experienced over the last, say, 5 to 10 years. I can't call it softer. I've just been more enlightened, is the best way to say it. But still, at the same time, I still don't. The podcast is called Taking No Shorts. So there's still some places where I'll go where I'll be like, wait a minute. As far as like the sensitivities of where we are in this internet social media age, but there's still some things that people are gonna stand on. And I say, I have a saying I say on the podcast, I let them land. So if you ever saw me in my stand-up, you're definitely not gonna see that same guy. I'm gonna be very even keeled as opposed to that animated Yosemite Sam kind of guy that people probably saw me out before.
Even kill. I think I'm gonna believe that one I see. But then I've been in the room for a lot of it, and I could tell you, it is definitely a calmer, more mellow, while at the same time authentic and absolutely Jay Grizzy production. And so I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited for you. You are an exceptional talent. And I appreciate, rocking with you and just being brothers with you and seeing how you have progressed, as you mentioned. One last question I'm gonna ask you, Grizz, in our limited time that we have tonight. Last week we spent a lot of time on this, and I don't know that we'll have a lot of time for it tonight, but I am very, very interested to get your opinion on the stand-up that Chris Rock did last week in reference to the situation with Will Smith, the smack that we all saw. We waited a year and we finally got the response from Chris Rock. It's the stand-up that he did on Netflix. It was called someone help me out here. This escaping me.
Selective outrage.
Selective outrage.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to know your thoughts on it as we close.
Great, thank you for and thank you for the accolades before leading that in to me. I appreciate it, brother. We talked about this on Taking No Shorts last weekend. That episode will be out before but sometime before beginning of April. And the way I took this, the take I had on it was, why was people getting on Chris Rock because he mentioned Jada, because he mentioned Jada Pinkett Smith in his act. First of all, he's a comedian, so I mean, he got smacked for doing his job, and there's some whole other reasons behind, why Will Smith did what he did. But the internet and their sensitivities and their soft panties or soft underwear felt like he took a boo-boo on them, And I didn't understand that, because honestly, if it wasn't for Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith probably would not have went up there and put his hands on the man. So why not him put her in the act? Because she was a part of it. It wasn't an act, by the way, but so we batted that around, and I didn't, of course, I didn't take a side in it, because Chris, much love to him and what he said, like, he didn't want to play the victim. So I mean, it's obvious that he didn't do anything wrong, but I was just taken aback by some of the social media commenters or trolls online saying why he had to put Jada in it. Well, shit, excuse my name, but Jada was the reason why he got smacked. Why not? And I saw y'all show last week about it, and I think John made a good point about it. I think it was along those lines as well. So that's my take on it. It was an unfortunate incident. That man's got to live with that for the rest of his life, but he'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. I have no I feel no kind of way towards Will Smith. As a matter of fact, I look at him a little bit differently now.
Yeah, I could dig it. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. All right, Grizz, I'm gonna let you go, but before we do, I want you to tell everybody who is watching and listening, here's where you get the rub. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, thank you, Marcus. I appreciate the love, bro. You can find me anywhere where you hear your favorite podcast. Coming towards the end of March, all you have to do is search Taking No Shorts podcast. That's on Apple, Spotify, Google, RSS.com. Also, the video feed, which will go up first, then you'll get the audio. It's on youtube.com/@ Taking No Shorts pod, just like that sign right up there behind me. Also, and then for, like I said, a nominal fee, you can hear the old me on the Patreon at patreon.com. And I will tell the audience this. This space of podcasting has 700,000 users that have put content out in the last 5 years. When YouTube first started out, they had 3 million. So we still early in this game. But Marcus J and I have been in it when we used to call it internet radio, and we've learned. Or I can tell that he has, and I definitely have. So if you want to be entertained, if you want to sit back, I like to say kiki with the best of them, baby, I'm your man. So appreciate you, bro. I'll sit back and listen to the rest of the show.
You got it, bro. I love you, bro.
Peace. Hey, peace, cuz. Take it easy.
Peace,
Steph, I gotta get you to come back, Steph, so I can hit on some more misogynistic points for you.
If you like getting beat up, you call me, bro.
I like it. Peace, much love, y'all. All right.
And you know, I have Steppin Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Let's get some love in from Legacy in that radio alumni is checking us out tonight. We got a few of them, so let's get them in. Used to hear this brother on in live and radio with Mr. LP Steven Sykes. We have our brother Aurelio is checking us out. He says Marcus J was good, and then he sees Jay Grizzy and he's enjoying seeing him as well. Jay Grizzy, yes, that's our brother who joined us just now. And then also you have joining us saying hey to the fam, Mr. 3375. Jeff, what's up, bro? It's good to see you, man. Glad to see you. joining us. And peace to your little man. I see him growing up so good, and he looks just like his dad, and happy to see him growing up so well. So you're a good man and you're a good dad. Appreciate you. And also would join us on Ain't No Hashtag One Marcus J, my sister Shayna Latia, who is one of our favorite Legacy in the Radio alums. You can find her all over town, sound healing, helping with the soul. I was at a sound healing session with her just last night. So she used to join us here on the show quite frequently, and we appreciate all of the alumni and friends and family who are rocking with us tonight. Ain't No Hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. Also, if you're watching, I don't say this quite enough, but obviously y'all are here. It's a bunch of y'all that's listening and watching. Share our stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so that you can have this kind of come back to your inbox. We're here every single Monday night, and we got archives that go back many, many years. So if you missed anything, you always could make sure that you find it. But I always appreciate any of the love we get. And if I like something, I want to tell somebody that I like it. So if you like what you're hearing from John and Steph and yours truly, by all means, share it on your page, share it on group pages, help us kind of spread the love around and grow. Also joining us tonight is our sister from Jersey City. Our sister Alexis is checking us out. She says, "Hey Alexis, take a look at my shirt." You know what I'm saying? I'm rocking our hood tonight. I'm not sure why, but I felt inspired, and the fact that you're here rocking with us in our first segment tells me I know I wore the right attire. So I appreciate you, sis, and you've been with us consistently. Appreciate how you rocking with your brother. Ain't No Hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Steph, I'm about to say it.
Do it, corny.
You ready?
Yes, I like this corny moment.
Let us move on. Yeah. This is time for us to get to our one of our main topics of the night. There's a few main topics that we are talking about tonight, but this one is it's inspired from a couple of different places. One from my dad, Emmy, and our interaction, and another from me as I view other folks as I navigate my way through middle age. But when I was last home, or one of my previous visits, I'm kicking it with Pops J, and it was obviously it's my dad, so it was a generation gap. We were talking about attire. We were talking about how you dress and things that you wear. And if you know me, I ain't wearing no tie.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I didn't get married in the tie. I didn't wear a tie when I got married. Like, I ain't wearing no tie.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I wear a tie on first Tuesdays of the month. So Bodie B.
That's the only time. That's the only time I've seen it, and it's in pictures.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I am more comfortable in sweats and Crocs, or jeans and black Nikes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a hoodie and a ball cap.
More so the Crocs and the sweats.
Now.
Yes.
A few years ago, it would have been the jeans and the black Nike.
You progressed.
I am, right?
Or is that?
And if I'm trying to look cute, I'll have on the jeans and the black Nikes, right? That's me getting dressed up. So that's the generation gap with Pops, because he would say things like, "We don't wear dungarees on Sundays." Dungarees, yes. Generation, right? Yes. And I totally respect that. Absolutely, because it is. But then there's us when we see a young blood with skinny jeans sagging.
You say young blood.
I was born in the 70s. I was born in the 70s, right? So everybody's blood are cats to me. You know what I'm saying? And if you bugging, you jiving.
Gonna mess around and get decked.
You know what I'm saying?
Gosh.
And I hope nobody drops a dime on me when I do it. You know what I mean?
And that's some information for you, homeboy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Can you dig it? I could do this all day.
I knew that you could.
I could do
Clearly,
this all day.
Really, yeah.
But really, is there a baseline for decorum? Now, I don't ever think that it's appropriate to go any place and see anybody's underwear in public. And it is a whole thing. Like, they'll buy underwear so that you can see it under their sagging pants. It's what they do. And so I wonder if me and my sweatpants and Crocs look to my father like I look to these young folks look to me. Is there a baseline for decorum? Now, I set this up to talk about clothes, but I'm not just talking about clothes. Like, there's a whole host of directions that this can go in, because we often find ourselves at odds with what we may deem acceptable. We can be talking about cancel culture here, because there are certain things that would be accepted by some and not for others.
Or it could be respectability politics.
Could be, because is there something wrong with the 50-year-old, soon to be 50-year-old, who's wearing sweats and Crocs, or is there something wrong with the 25-year-old who's wearing, sagging skinny jeans,
Or both?
or both? You know what I'm saying? So is there a baseline for decorum? Now, again, I'm setting that up, and we're talking about clothes, but this is bigger than just about clothes. And so let me get some salutations in before John comments here. First, Alexis says, young whippersnappers. And so the two greatest men I ever knew in my life are both checked in, and I'm glad they are. And I hope they are continuing to check in and listen, because this line of conversation is partly inspired by me being, their junior. But my big brother Chuck is listening right now. He's saying, hey, Legacy, and Pops is listening right now. And he's saying good evening to the family. So I'm glad we're here. So John, when you and I briefly talked about this earlier, because we try not to do too much, because we don't want to, it's like eating too much before it's time to eat dinner. It's like, hey, that's snacking. You can spoil your dinner, so I don't want him to tell too much. So share briefly what we did say, what you said, and then share your comments here, bro.
Well, I can lead into it with that. Not the exact words, but just an idea.
Yep.
To me, it's more about appropriateness, being appropriate, right? A friend of mine and I used to make fun of guys in the barbershop who would come into the barbershop with an entire sports team's uniform on and the shoes. And their job is a mailman. Like, why are you wearing breakaway? Why are you wearing break? First of all, and not even your home team, right? Not even your home team. You wearing supersonic breakaway pants.
Not supersonic.
Right? With the Sean Kemp tank, right? With the other shirt over it, and the hat, and some basketball shoes, right? You look a fool. You look a clown. You dress, but it's accepted. And I blame Allen Iverson for that. But okay, that's another story. But my whole point is appropriate, right? If you are going to, that's like going to a job interview, roles, right?
I don't know if I equate that the same though.
But I'm going to tell you why it's the same. You take for granted, right, when you're in public, that you are a part of the experience of the people around you, right? The same way you should have some kind of hygiene and not smell bad when you're around people, you should dress appropriately and you should behave appropriately. And your conversation should be at a certain level whereas not to be heard. Otherwise, if your conversation is audible by others, you cannot be mad if someone chimes in. You can't say mind your business. And why did I hear what you were saying? Nobody taught you to have an inside voice. Right?
New Yorkers don't, John.
No, listen, no. Because I remember
when New Yorkers move south, we are loud.
But no,
until we adjust.
No. Let me tell you this. I remember years of riding the subway to work, right? And people minding their business and being quiet. And if they had something to say, they leaned over to the other person and said it quietly. Things got bad in the Walkman area with the big headphones, and you hear the music like it's in a boombox in their headphones. That type of stuff, again, it's poor etiquette because you infringing. I don't want to equate it to like rape, but it's like you forcing your stuff on me.
What do you care what I'm wearing?
And
No, because we're in a public forum. I'm looking at you.
I look a
Now
mess
you're
in
gonna
my
force.
supersonic
Now
gear,
you
but I
gotta
ain't
force. Now
bothering you.
now you forcing me to turn away. But there's certain things.
I'm
right?
forcing you to turn away from me with the ugly jersey on.
Listen, whatever it is, whatever the situation is, there is okay. Just like you said about showing your underwear.
You look a mess,
right?
but it don't
But
bother me.
No, listen.
I have an
let me
opinion,
tell,
but you're not bothering
But
me.
here
For
we go.
real.
Right here we go. Let me tell you what the problem is. Right.
Yeah.
All this goes back to again. You have expectation, right, of privacy without acting private. So if you're outside, right, and you got on a tank top, right, you have on a what they call inappropriate language, excuse me, wife beater, right? You got on a tank top, you got on some
You know you're gonna
pants
get
that
canceled
don't.
for saying wife beater, right?
You got some pants that don't fit you.
Cancel
Right?
culture, man. It's real.
Okay. So you got some pants that don't fit you, however they are.
Yeah.
And you can see the underwear that you're wearing.
Yeah.
Right. And you're outside in public. Right. If someone offers comment regarding your attire, I don't believe you have the right to be offended because what the hell are you wearing inside clothes outside for?
How dare you tell
Those
me what I
are
could be offended
because
about?
those are undergarments.
Yeah.
They're
Let's-
undergarments.
let's-
They're meant to be
let's-
worn
I
under
got you.
clothes.
I got you. Let's get Steph in
Right?
here. Steph, I got comments in. Comment to. I see you. I'm putting you up on the screen so we can keep the conversation. No, I'm gonna put them on the screen. Put them on, so we can see it. But let me say, new people, and then our brother Jersey City Zone is checking us out. Fred W. Martin School in Jersey City. That is, brother. I got your comment on the screen. Legacy in that radio alumni Sean Miz is checking us out of Twilight Doc, affectionately referring to me as they referred to me on that show as El Capitan.
I saw that
Yeah,
pop up. I'm like,
yeah, that's they called me El Capitan on that show, and it was an honor being called that. And I appreciate you keeping that energy. Steph B. John, we'll roundtable this just a little bit before we move. But you can piggyback on where going, or you can go wherever you want to go.
okay, I just for clarity, it is very clear men don't worry about rape, or you wouldn't make that association. So I just want to make sure we don't do that.
That's why I preferenced
it doesn't feel the same.
That's why
I promise you.
I
People have commented on my clothing. It doesn't feel like
no.
anybody's pressing
That's
it
not
on
what
me
I'm
like
saying.
rape feels. So I
That's
just
not-
want to clear that up.
I'm not talking about the comment on your clothing. I'm talking about when you force yourself on other people, when you have a loud conversation inside of a room and other people don't need to hear it or
Yeah.
don't want to hear it,
Great.
and they can't escape you,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Not like that.
Okay. Again, I preferenced it before I said it.
I know. I just have a responsibility to clear it up because it is much more significant. And one day when you have a vagina and you're worried about somebody running up in it,
let me explain
it's
something
a
to you.
different conversation.
No. When you a man of a certain age and you have to go have an exam, trust me, you really understand.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Oh my God.
Yes, you do.
John,
Because
I'm
quite
almost
uninvited.
Annoyed, so I'm gonna move on.
Right.
I'm almost annoyed with that. I will
It's
say
only
this.
for 3 seconds, bro. They gotta live with it.
I'll
never forget it.
And one is making you healthy, the other is not.
Mm-hmm.
There's the mic drop. Go ahead, Steph.
Okay.
So I have this conversation consistently, and I hear it mostly amongst women because I'm not really having like clothing conversation with men, but women tend to be really caught up, especially if they're a certain age, on bonnets. That was the thing for years. Oh, you're walking outside with a bonnet. You got a bonnet on. The bonnet thing was driving people crazy. Why is she going to the store in a bonnet? Why is she wearing pajamas in the store? Just like all kinds of things. So I think for me, I am a proud supporter of mind your fucking business. And I'll tell you why. And pardon for the language, Mr. Johnson. Pop Jays, I'm sorry.
It's all
I haven't
good,
even had a
man.
chance to hug you and love upon you
I
yet. I'm
say fuck
sorry.
sometimes too.
But I think it annoys me only a little bit. Now, I agree with John. Once you're out in the public, it is what it is. I absolutely agree with you on that. And you know, this hits so many levels, right? So now we're in an era of body positivity. And so you see a thick person you see somebody who would personally say that they consider themselves fat. Because now, if you consider yourself, it's okay for you to say it, not me. I get it. I can say it, I can't say it. I get it. I was checked on somebody by that who said you're thick, not fat, so you don't get to use fat words. I'm like, whatever. But everything, police, right? So my thing when we were having this conversation, I said, okay, so if you are a certain size and you walk out in public and you are wearing something that the public or society has deemed inappropriate for your size, and they are staring at you, what is your feeling or response? And this person was like, mind your business. What I wear, what's on my body is not your business. And there's a certain element, there's a certain element to this as I started to think out how people were so upset about bonnets, how people were so upset about people wearing pajamas to the grocery store. I said, and I've said this to multiple people who have brought this up to me, I'm cool with you feeling that you need to address it. Just don't let yourself think it won't be, that there's no repercussion. So if you are an older biddy and you out here and you see a young chick and she's, I'm gonna be a biddy one day, so I'm gonna use it. And she's out here and she's I'll use myself as an example because clothing are subjective. So I got out of my vehicle one day and it was an older lady walking past with her husband. She saw me, he saw me. We're in the parking lot, we're going into Target. Later, we end up in the same line, them behind me, me, doing my thing, putting everything up. And she did not like the length of my skirt. And she said, they need to start wearing slips again. And I turned around and said, be careful you don't slip and break that hip. You need to be focused on self, old lady. Now,
you said that to the old lady?
Yes, I did.
You said that to the old
lady?
lady?
Because you want to pop bad with young folks.
Hey, look, I got you.
And so my only yes, I did. Because she was listen, this lady didn't care about my dress. She cared about her husband looking at me.
There is no shade in the world better than ladies against ladies. Boy.
Gotta be careful. And what I've learned as I've gotten older, I don't want smoke with young girls because their mouths are flipping, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have time or energy. And guess what? If you want your tail hanging out, ain't my business. And if I choose to make a comment and that comment is loud enough for her to hear and she wants to jump bad with me, what do? Pick up the phone and call my 20-something-year-old daughter to come fight some other 20-something? I overstepped my boundaries, she overstepped her boundaries. So my rule to how you feel about how someone is dressed and you making comments about it, cool. Just don't expect to be respected on the basis of who you are, who you think you are, how old you are, because it happens very consistently. I don't hear young people caring about us folk and what we're wearing. I really don't. And I'm around a lot of younger people. They don't care. I care about the people in my circle and how they're representing themselves. But if I don't know you and I see you, not my business. You know why? Because the minute I decide to open my mouth and say something, I have no control over your reaction. And you could either go home mad or pull out your little gun, pew pew, or whatever you're going to do. But you can't control the reaction. So it is best sometimes to mind your business and let the bonnet be.
Coach says there's some truth to that statement. He's referring to your conversation with the old biddy. My cousin Camille is checking us out. And so much love to you. And thank you for rocking with us tonight, fam. So much love to you. Appreciate you. She is echoing some of your sentiments, Steph. She's saying in this era, you have to be careful how you approach these young kids about their attire because you may end up getting shot back in the day, 70s and 80s. For me, we truly were raised by the community because every adult had an unspoken right to pull you up about your attitude, your attire, anything else deemed socially unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Let's see. And
she's right about that.
And she continues, and that is sad and unfortunate part. No matter how respectful we are with our wisdom, they will take it negatively. Comedian Monique was respectful when she made her comments about bonnets, and the internet roasted her for that. Shaking my head, some truth to that.
They killed her for it. They came to her.
And then our legal eagle is saying, I agree with you, Steph, to a point. There's a time and place for everything, and I've dressed down clients for inappropriate wear at the courthouse.
You should,
especially my women clients, and they have they have to do the shame. I'm sorry, I can't see y'all, so
you need help.
Yeah, I can't see, man.
And
it's getting worse
I
too.
do want to say one thing. I absolutely am not dismissing appropriate dress, because I used to, work in a college environment where I was a career counselor, and I used to I was the only Black person. I would have to have conversations with the girls about hair appropriateness, clothing appropriateness. So I agree. I absolutely do. I just think you need to be conscious of the fact that your feelings don't align with everyone else's. You need to be careful.
I dig that. And John, you echoed something. I'll add this to the equation, and you go wherever you want to go. When you mentioned Allen Iverson, we can throw in the hair and the tattoos.
Yeah,
we can throw that in as well, because we have some elders who have some issues with that. Like, I've been wearing my hair the way I've been wearing I haven't combed my hair for public consumption in about 5 years. It's just, I like it nice and kinky. It grows out of my head that way. I like it.
You use it.
I use a little sponge, and that's what I like. But I understand now. Is it different? Am I on par with Decorum Rose? Maybe not. To some, it's all the same. But ultimately, getting back to the original question, should there be, or is there a baseline for Decorum, or are we all really going to be throwing shade at the younger generation? John, jump in here. I just wanted to say that, but jump in here in your comment.
So here's my thing, right? Again, how I agree with Steph is this: if you invite something and you get what's invited, you deal with it, and the person who's had the audacity to speak on it, they need to deal with it too. My problem is, don't start crying and don't start complaining about what somebody had to say about your midriff.
They have a right to.
Because they didn't ask to see it.
And they didn't ask you to come. See, this is the problem. So it runs both ways.
Right.
You both get to respond as you choose.
Exactly. So that's my thing.
So if they want to cry about it, that's their chosen response.
Right. But what I'm saying is, don't expect anything from me behind it, because my obnoxious arrogance does not allow me to have any kind of thought about some kind of feelings.
Well,
like, for real, like, really, you came outside in a one of them shirts that the very small girls wear, and the
underboob shirt.
Yeah, and your stomach touches your knees. Whatever comes your way, is, if you feel that good about it, you should be able to defend it. And whoever got something to say, you should be good with it. Don't start breaking down and crying. Nah. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's my thing. And as far as, like, again, like I said, I feel personally, right? I don't ever want to be that person. I don't ever want to be the person that makes other people uncomfortable in a public area. I don't like being in public areas, to be honest with you. I don't like riding the bus, the train, none of that stuff. I don't even like airplanes. I don't like anywhere where I'm around other people I don't know, because now I feel responsible, right, to check myself, right, so that I'm not in a way offensive to others.
But isn't that a baseline of decorum?
It's supposed to be, right? But unfortunately, it isn't, because I cannot begin to count the amount of conversations that are in my head to this day that I didn't never want to know. I never wanted to know what was going on in these people's lives. I don't know them. But these things is stuck in my head. So now I'm forced to wear headphones. I'm forced to put stuff in my ear. I don't want to put it in my ear. I'm forced to do because you can't monitor your tone. Or you got to have an intimate, personal conversation with somebody else in a public space.
Now, to answer Marcus's question, flat out, yes, there is a baseline of decorum, or we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There is a baseline of decorum. It is just that it's moved, and societally, some of us want it to remain what it was. You know, the baseline of decorum for women were petticoats. The baseline in the 80s and 90s, even and early in my career in the early 2000s, was pantyhose at work, right? So there's definitely a stated or expected baseline of decorum. I just think that you have to understand that one, it moves, and two, it changes person to person, often based on the fact that we are not all raised the same either.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna leave it. People gonna get mad at me at this one.
Shocker.
People are gonna get mad at me
falling out
because I'm about to get on some GOP ish now.
Can't believe they'll be mad at you.
Right? I'm about to get on some GOP right now, and this is a bug for me. Right? It's a real bug for me. I don't think in public you should be having a conversation that I can hear in a foreign language.
All right, ain't no hashtag Marcus.
I think you should. I think people should be arrested for that. Because I don't know what you're talking about,
I'm gonna take.
You can be talking about anything, and I don't know, and you saying it loud enough for me to hear. Nah, something going on, man. I don't trust you.
I'm gonna take I'll take the final word on this topic.
New York, and you're saying that?
Hell yeah!
Please don't cross the Brooklyn Bridge again.
I'm crossing it.
All right, y'all.
Somebody got a problem? We can fight. I'm good with it.
I'll take the final word on this one. Before I do that, let me get this next comment in, and then I'll take the final word. Virginia Union University, my brother Johnny Ogletree, representing Reverend Johnny Ogletree down in Texas. Brother, I appreciate you rocking with us, man. Thank you so much. And let me get your comment in. He says the baseline of decorum is established by our beliefs or traditions. In addition, decorum is established by each organization or establishment to be accepted or to participate in them will require us to make some adjustments. See, Camille says they can't understand you either. And Tamika says, John, what the hell? I'll take the final word on this, and then we're going to move on to Stephisodes. Stephisodes is up next, yeah. So mind your business. Somebody said it earlier. Mind your business. Like just mind your business. Now, this conversation started from a middle-aged man talking to his father while observing young people. So I wanted to talk about this because I'm the middle-aged man in this analogy, and I want to wear sweatpants and Crocs, and my father wants to wear iron slacks. And what you call the shoes that you used to put the nickel in? What you call penny loafers? Yeah, them.
I love when I see elder men dressed that way.
Well, I mean, he's not wearing them, but just kind of as a as a
nice
as a figure of speech.
Does Dad wear a button down?
On occasion, I'll give you a perfect example. When he would come to visit, like he would get dressed. We may or may not be going somewhere, but he would get dressed like we were. And that's his move, that's his style, and it's cool. I could dig it. Whereas I could go to Jersey and know we going somewhere, and I'm wearing sweatpants and Crocs.
You just gonna break all the rules.
I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm never gonna not be comfortable, and I understand that side of it because perhaps maybe the young folks feel like they're being comfortable. Now, I don't think there's any comfort in you showing me your ass and drawers. Ain't no comfort in that. But I understand an elder looking at me saying he's walking out the house in his night clothes. I can understand that as well. So I want to be mindful of my position in this conversation. I want to be mindful of the difference as our generation shifts and our ways of thinking begin to shift, and what's appropriate for the generations begin to shift. Honestly, I think if we all just mind our business, it's one thing when we're talking father to son in a private conversation, and I shared with y'all, he's telling me you should dress more like a grown-ass man, son. I could dig it. I could dig it with the ball cap, to the side, backwards, or whatever. Some folks don't view that appropriately. I view certain things that I see in young folks, and I had the same energy that my pops would maybe have with someone in our generation. And so I appreciate that difference. I'm fascinated by it. I think it's funny, and I think it's cool that we have it. The problem comes in when there's an exposure of your ass and your draws. It's a little bit different with regards to that, but I think ultimately, I think what John said is absolutely outrageous when he's talking about sending people to jail for speaking their native tongue while we living in a country that purports itself the melting pot and all of that stuff. If that's how you feel, I respect that's how you feel, but I think that's crazy talk. It's outrageous. And I think, and because I am kind of sort of coming for you, I'll give you an opportunity to respond if you choose to. But we purport ourselves the melting pot in this country, and we know that there were a lot of different cultures that came here, and there are people in the world that think that we're the dummies of the world because we're the only country in the world that's a major country that only speaks one language. You know what I mean? And I think the people who come here, brilliant in their own countries, but come here by their own choosing for a variety of reasons, could be amongst the smartest people that you'll ever meet in your life. They just happen to not speak English, so you want them to be arrested. That's what you said. You want them to be arrested.
Whenever you're ready, I'll break it down for you.
Obviously, now for the interest of time, we're not going to have you break it down, but that's what you want.
Could respond.
You can respond, but don't.
I ain't gonna take forever.
All right, well, I mean, you want to respond to why a person who's brilliant in another country while speaking Spanish, who holds doctorates and all kinds of levels of academia, or maybe just being in the school of hard knocks, just being a smart person.
They made it here. They figured something out.
Who happens to not speak the same language that's the dominant language of this country. And we got all kinds of terrorists and people who have offices on the Capitol who should go to jail. But you want the little old man who speaks Spanish and not English to go to jail because he had a conversation around you. Did I get that right?
Okay. First thing you missed was if I can hear it. If I can't hear it,
that's where
it
I
don't
said
matter. Listen, it don't matter
around you.
If I can't hear it,
that.
if you're talking right at a volume that's reasonable enough for you and the person next to you to hear, and I'm 2 persons over, I really can't hear you. I know that you're talking, but I really don't know what you're saying. I can't hear it. I really don't know the language you're talking because you're speaking at a reasonable volume in a public place. But if you're talking loud and I can hear it, and you're not speaking English, I don't know what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter. Mind your business.
No,
mind your business.
It might be my business because they might be plotting to do something.
You, it ain't.
You can't promise me that. See, that's the problem.
I promise you.
No, see, that's the problem. See, again,
when's the last time you was on the train with somebody?
The rose-colored glasses,
when's the last time? No, they're tinted. It's dark. It's not
whatever
rose.
they are.
Rose is red.
Listen,
dark, black.
Listen.
But
I want to know.
When's the last time you was on the train with somebody? Hold on. Somebody. No. Hold on. You on a train, someone speaking Spanish, you heard them, they got off the train. What happened to them? Did something happen to you?
I don't know. It don't matter. My point is this.
It obviously matters.
When the man said, listen, when the man is saying, I'm about to shoot everybody on this train, I want to know what he's saying.
Stop it.
I want to know what he's saying. I don't want to get it confused.
We understand.
Right? I don't want no misunderstanding.
I gave you an opportunity to clean it up. You chose not to.
Listen, I cleaned as far as I'm concerned. I cleaned it up.
You're going to die on that mountain. I can dig
again. I have no empathy. If you talking loud, speak English. If you're not speaking English, right? First of all, be quiet.
You should probably take that hat off and put a red one on.
Whatever.
The goofy red hat,
whatever,
because that's what I call it. The goofy red
hat.
You sound like them people.
Okay, John is back, y'all.
This is the bottom line. First of all, keep your conversation to yourself and whoever you're talking to. If I can hear it, you're talking too loud. That's the first thing.
How about you mind your business?
I'm minding my business. You talking too loud.
How about you mind your business?
I'm minding my business.
Every single person is talking too loud. Everybody that you can hear is talking too loud.
If Steph and I
can't believe you have us doing this. I don't even want to do this.
No. If Steph and I, no. If Steph and I were companions on a train or a bus, and I wanted to say something to her, trust and believe the people in the seat in front of me would not be able to hear what I was saying. She would.
But as long as it's English, it's good.
No. It's not. No. The first part of that you missed.
I didn't.
The first part
I
of it
didn't.
is
But
quiet.
you didn't say
The
nothing
first
about
part of
sending
it is
English speakers to
quiet.
jail.
No. English people can get a ticket.
All
Right?
Now,
But
now I'm
English
really,
people can get a
now,
ticket.
now I'm really done.
Disorderly conduct.
Now I'm really done. Ain't no how
Disorderly
stuff.
conduct.
All the things
Come
that
on, man.
they use against black
I
people.
can't do it
Yes,
with you.
GOP John.
I-
you
I-
are
I
back.
can't do it with him.
Listen, act right.
I can't do it with him. Ain't no how stuff with
Or
Marcus
how
J.
about this? How about this?
Come
What
on,
the
man.
kids say?
I'm shifting.
F around and find out.
He's a conservative.
yeah, I'm shifting.
F around and find out.
I'm
We
shifting.
got to come up with a
Ain't no
conservative
how
name.
stuff
for
with
John.
F
Marcus J.
around and find out.
Live from NewDen Legacy.
John,
Internet
Need to get
Radio.
some act right up in here.
We getting some love.
Yes,
from,
you too.
All right, y'all. Hold on.
P,
Let's
that's what's
shift.
wrong with these people.
Let's shift.
Can't act right.
We getting some love from.
Stop beating the kids. Can't beat the kids. Cop can't beat the crook.
Let us move on.
Yeah.
We getting some love from Jet Black. Still doing your thing for our people. I knew you was a real brother. Sam at her priority used to be anyway. That's my brother Sam at priority. So if you rock with Sam, then you rock with me. Ain't no how step on Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. And I love the name Jet Black. Yes, I can dig it. Ain't no how step Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. You know, it's just blackity black. Yeah. What's your favorite color, John? Black. What else you like? Dark black. What else you like? Light black. I want black. What color black? Charcoal gray black. What other kind of black?
Midnight blue.
Midnight blue black. You know what I mean? Yeah, all the blackity black.
Y'all
All
are
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, we a mess. Ain't no how step Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. Now I really wanted to move on and shift to Stephaso's. But before we do that, we got a little bit of business to attend to. She said good morning. So because she said good morning, we got to look into the camera and give her the salutations that she always gets and well deserved, as we say together.
Good morning, Sue.
Yeah, ain't no ass step Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. Coach Miz says John is definitely on one tonight.
on one.
Yes, he is. All right, Stephaso's.
GOP John.
Let us talk about Stephaso's. And last week was the debut of Stephaso's. And this is a segment that we're going to have regularly here on the show. When you talk to us tonight, Steph, about what we will be talking about, I would like for you to lead with what Stephaso's is. Before you do that, one more salutation. My brother Chad is checking us out tonight. Who we know and love, one of the smartest men I ever known in my life. And this brother is just laughing at us. He just put 3 laugh emojis at us. I'm not sure where he's laughing, but I know the brother, so I'm pretty sure I can gather. Chad, somebody be brother. Thank you for rocking with us.
Gen X Young Baby Boom Breakfast Club.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Stephaso's. Tell us what it is. Tell us what we're talking about tonight.
So Stephaso's is adopted from my own Radio Life Hustlers Hive, and it is where business and culture collide, and sometimes it's issues of blackness, but it is always about moving the culture forward and understanding where we might be misaligning and how it can work out better for us, hopefully. So tonight's Stephasode, and I was kind of up in the air, you guys know this, but tonight's Stephasode is what does Black success owe us? Which I have been. Go ahead. What?
That's a question.
Yeah, it is. It is for many people, and I'll tell you why.
Who's the Black success and who's the us? We need definitions.
What does Black success owe the Black community? So what do successful Black people, that's not difficult, what do successful Black people owe the Black community?
Not a damn thing.
And maybe to you, and maybe even to me to some degree. But I wanted to talk about it because I had been paying attention when we were off air to the situation with Deion Sanders and him leaving the HBCU and going to Colorado and deciding to become a coach there. And I don't want us to get caught up specifically only on that, but clearly he is Black and successful, and people had a lot of opinions about what Deion Sanders' Black success should be doing after it has achieved any level of success anywhere else. But that question is not isolated to Black success at a celebrity level. You hear it in your community. You hear it for Black people that are successful in political spaces. You hear it for small business owners that happen to be Black, and people in the community who just have a come up. You hear it in hip hop. You know, it is all, there is always an underlying conversation for some people that really just boils down to what we believe Black success owes us as a community, and where it's supposed to reinvest, and what it's supposed to look like. And so when I was listening to the conversation about Dion, one of the major things that I picked up from that about Black success is this belief that it has no autonomy. It has no ability to make its own decisions, to move independently, to do anything outside of what Blackness expects of it, what a Black community expects of it. So, for instance, Deion Sanders, and we'll use him because it's easy and people know what happened. He left. He decided to go to a BY, which predominantly white institution. I mean, the whitest, and people were very angry. Now, at the same, and
He
by
brought
the
his luggage.
and he was planning it. And on the same token, some of that also was then leveled at the NFL player Ed Reed when he decided to go to Bethune-Cookman and become their head coach. And he was egregiously angry about the condition of the campus, how the students were living, what was going on, what was being expected. And he spoke out on it. And immediately people wanted him to be silent. So here was the irony. Dion needs to stay and contribute and continue at Jacksonville State because that's what Black success would do. It would keep reinvesting in the community, right? Ed Reed needs to be at Bethune-Cookman with its broken down campus, its mildew in the rooms, its office that's not prepared for him. And he not only needs to do it, he needs to be quiet while doing it and not speaking ill of HBCUs because they're Black institutions. So my question became, well, don't Black institutions, aren't they supposed to reflect success? And if they reflect success, don't they owe the community something, the students that they're serving? Why are we comfortable with Black success being substandard in an educational space, but then all of a sudden when we see Black individuals being successful, we want to absorb everything they've gotten for their life from their lives into our community? And so I really started to think deeply about it. And for me, Black success doesn't owe me anything other than a demonstration of its success when it's in a public space. It successful is Deion Sanders being able to go to a larger institution that can pay him more. If he were white, you would cheer him on for going and getting more money. You would acknowledge that it's coming because of the success he's created. So for often in the Black community, Black success is limiting. We immediately say, we're successful, you got to stay right here. We're successful, you got to keep all the same friends, even if their behaviors don't change. Beanie Siegel. We're successful, all of our money have to go into Black enterprise and Black behaviors and blackity, black. And we don't have the same level of autonomy extended that white success has. White people become successful, no one's monitoring where their money goes. Black people become successful, look at him buying jewelry, not your business. So for me, the question is, why does the Black community, and by the way, I do believe, again, that Black success owes education to the community. That's it. And if you don't want to hear the education, they don't even owe you that. But if they come and they offer that, that's about the most as a Black person who becomes, if they become highly successful, I believe that the representation that they make in public is about the most they really need to do. And that is only because we have the unfortunate condition of Blackness in America where one is wrong, all is wrong. You're right. So I do believe in that sense that Black success should represent itself well. but it doesn't have to represent itself in a way that means it's giving money to everybody, it's pouring into everything, it's staying and is stagnant. And again, I also think we have a very, very ignorant perspective, and where once something is deemed Black and successful, and I really do, and now mind you, I went to PWIs for all my education. I really do think that HBCUs often, because it is perceived as a measure of Black success, escape the level of reflection and conversation that is necessary when it comes down to, and I've been in this space, in the financial aid space, how they manage the funds that do come in. Can't talk about the funds that didn't come in when you mismanage the funds that don't come in. I have plenty of friends who have children at HBCUs who, middle of the semester, all of a sudden you don't have money. Plenty of them. When this whole thing went down with Ed Reed, many kids at HBCUs were posting pictures of rooms with mildew, where the dorms were still cinder block. There hadn't been anything updated. And that's where I would say Black success. If you've graduated from one of those spaces, investing in it, that's a measure of success that I think we can look at and hope for. But I can't say that Black success owes us anything unless it is in a space in which it is absorbing from the natural community. And so I look at Black banks. There's one in my community. It's run down. It looks terrible. It doesn't reflect well. They can't bring money in, which means anybody who puts their assets, minor or major, into it get no benefit from it. But you look like you look.
Heritage, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
You look. I was trying to be kind.
Nah, don't be, because I got stories to tell.
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't. I think that you know John can't.
Man,
He also outed what my community is at that point, right?
Look, and I have a personal relationship with the bank manager, president. So,
president.
Sorry.
Again,
what does so in that, so that's where I stand. I think that Black success, when it is an institution, a university, a college, a bank, something that is built and supposed to be reflective of the community, it owes the community a lot. It owes us a reflection of what success truly is. Now, when it's an individual, that's their money. They are entitled to do as they please with it. They're entitled to work where they want to work. Dion doesn't owe Jacksonville State anything. He gave them what he came for and he left, just like Urban Meyer or any of those guys would do. You know, the local Black business owner, they don't owe the community anything other than to do business well, to be fair and to be honest. So that's the question that I pose to everyone is, what do you feel Black success owes us?
Well, I started out by saying not a damn thing. I want to amend that a little bit. The only thing that Black success owes anyone is continued success in silence. Right? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep winning. Don't fail. Don't mess up. Keep your mouth shut about it. Don't nobody need to know. Because the more people that know, the more they're gonna set about trying to destroy what you build. Right? Keep your mouth shut. Keep being successful. Right? Take care of yours. If they ain't never ate a plate of food that you served, you ain't gotta do nothing for them. Right? And we all need to stop promoting segregation, right? Under the guise of tribalism. Nah, you got two kind of people in this world right now: broke and with money, right? And the choice is yours. All right. Of course, there's a whole bunch of obstacles and things, and it's not fair, it's unfair, it's racist, it's white supremacy. Everything is set up for you to do. But listen, we know the course, we know the blocks, we know what's there, right? But we also have a set of tools and mechanisms set up to get you around and through those. And no, you're never going, not never, but seldom will you be able to achieve the same type of success that your equal counterpart who happens to be, melanin deficient would achieve. But so what? right? What they do, what somebody else does should not affect what you got going on. Make your life. Don't worry about the next person's life. Make your life, get your food, do what you need to do, take care of yours, and keep it pushing. Nobody owes anybody anything. And the idea, the expectation is the breeding ground for disappointment. Right? The hell you expecting somebody to do something for you for? For what? People don't know you. Oh, Beyonce charging $1,200 for her tickets. And you going or you can't afford it? You can't afford it, wait for the bootleg. Right? If you can afford it, buy the ticket. If your kid's gonna go without shoes and you're not gonna pay the rent so you can go see Beyonce, go right ahead. That's your business too. Right? But if that woman want to charge $1,200 for her tickets, that's her business. And if she want to shop at her Maze that didn't want to open the door for Oprah, that's her business too. Right? Whatever these people want to do, that's their business. They ain't got to get back to nothing. Nothing. They don't owe anybody anything. They owe themselves. They owe themselves the rewards. To the victor go the spoils. Right? And this whole brainwash nonsense of people trying to talk about, in the culture, in the community. And what community? No community. You got people with money, you got people without money. Right? And you sitting around running your mouth talking about what the people with money are not doing for your broke ass, as opposed to go figuring out a way to get some money for yourself. Nobody owes anybody anything. Full stop.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio stuff. I'm not as colorful and articulate and as graceful as John, but I agree with him 100%. And these people don't owe you nothing. Like I remember, thinking about the whole Dion thing. It's like, man, fuck that. He wanted to go get that money. Go get the money, Dion.
And make life better for his kids.
Go get
right?
the money. Like, you got all of these broke ass black people mad at you because you left a school that you had a contract with and you took them twice as far as they had ever been, ever. And they mad at you. You left the black people. Let me tell you something. You ain't never in your life met more black ass bodied people than the three of us in this room right here. You ain't. I don't know who you know, but I know you ain't met more. You might met as much, but you ain't met more.
And that's questionable.
And here's the thing, right? I think the mistake that we make as black people is we expect the black tax. And there's times for it. There's times that we need to be aligned in together on certain things, right? Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Barack Obama. There's certain times that we should be together, right? But then there's times where it's like, yo, we talking about life. We not talking about race, because race doesn't apply to every single thing. We sit and we watch how they advance and they use nepotism and all kinds of things. And we get mad about how we don't have the opportunity. But then when we have the opportunity, we want to throw shade at each other. It's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? And I give a shout out to my brother K-Dub, my oldest friend. I always say it this way. We've been friends since I was 3 and he was 2 years old. True. It's fact, right? K-Dub. And he would always tell me in my earlier years in radio, when we were, in the early part of our almost 12 years in radio, and he would tell me, you can't be spending these people's money. Here's the context. I would always come on here and be just emotional about how you would see prominent black people, Tyler Perry, Will Smith, Bill Cosby, you know what I'm saying? And, during the time before they fucked up their reps, you know what I'm saying? Right. But real talk, no, seriously, Eddie Murphy, these people, Oprah Winfrey, like obnoxious amount of not just Hollywood money and power, but just American money and power. Like, everybody knows who they are. Everybody respects who they are. So I would say things, Sean Carter, Beyonce, Knowles. Why don't these people get together and just fix shit? Because your money and power could fix shit. Like, you could put it strategically in certain places and you would see many of the benefits that we lament, and I would couch this language very, very clearly. Why they not doing it? Oprah Winfrey built a school in Africa.
Oh, everybody was mad about that.
She built a school in Africa. She's from Mississippi, made a name in Baltimore, and became a legend in Chicago. Why is she building a school in Africa? But then I had to be reminded by my brother Kate Hub, you can't be spending these people's money. These people going to do what they're going to do, and they don't have the heart you got. Now, if you had the heart you got with the money and resources they had, then Tyler Perry randomly choosing stores to buy out the debt and don't want nobody to know. They find their ways of doing these things, but I always wanted them to be public with it so that we can see them do it and their peers can see them do it so they can be inspired, because we all know they all followers, right? You know what I mean? If I do something dope, I could do something doper. How about all that dopeness helps everybody, right? So that's what I was thinking. Dub had to remind me, and I love this man for that, because he took me off the ledge. And as hard as it was to hear, you can't be spending these people's money. Let them people live, and everybody don't have the revolutionary spirit that you got. Everybody ain't got the benevolent feeling and spirit that you got.
And maybe her, because they beat up Oprah quite a bit. I mean, she was a big target.
Yeah.
Big target. And then it became, a black male thing. And the conversation got so crazy. But maybe how she perceives the investment in Africa and where it goes is different than how she perceives it here. Let's be real. We have access to education in this country. It is free. We have parents in California or people mad at Kamala because they perceived her as wanting to have truancy laws. We don't appreciate education. Why does she need to invest in it here? She went somewhere where it's not accessible for people that look like us and that we derive from, and she made it accessible to them. That is all. But again, because we, like K-Dub said, we're spending people's money and we don't even understand why they're spending it the way they're spending it.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. John, you got the con. Take your final comment on this particular topic. Lead us right into Green Talk.
Well, good, because it blends well. The first and foremost, you can't hold people in a public forum for something so private as their finance, right? Your God and your money is your business, right? Nobody needs to call anyone out on whatever they do. I have beef with Oprah about how she moved, not how she spent her money, and not how she made her money, right? God bless her, and I hope she makes twice as much as she's ever made in half the time it took her, right? Her and everybody else. I wish nobody nothing but success. Remember in Players Club, in the movie Players Club, Ice Cube was like, what? Forget him. My money spent like his. And that's how I felt my entire life. I don't care what you got, because it's not in my pocket. I worry about my money, and I'm good with mine, whatever it is, wherever I'm at. And if I got a problem with it, I'm gonna address it. It'll have nothing to do with anybody else, right? I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where, I'm not gonna write a check my ass can't cash. You see what I'm saying? So I don't worry about how much money, and this is why I can go in a room with millionaires and billionaires and shake hands and talk to them confidently, right, about money, right? Because it's all an illusion, especially when we're talking about USA. And this is how I'm going into my Green Talk, right?
Before me stop you right there. Salutation. As you was transitioning to Green Talk, let me get these salutations in.
Go ahead.
Then
All
you
right.
got it.
All right.
Legacy in that radio alumni and one of the original 7 members of Legacy in that radio, dating pool diva, Arthur Charisma. I am always blessed when I get to cross paths with you. I'm just so blessed and so happy to see you. And thank you for rocking with us. You're such an awesome person. And hopefully we get an opportunity to cross paths again soon. But thank you for rocking with us. Jersey City's own, our brother Aubrey is checking us out. You earn it, you spend it how you see fit. Not my money, not my monkey, not my circus. And I can dig it. Ain't no half step on Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. So I guess this is a time we shifting into Green Talk. Our brother John Green.
Yeah,
What you got, bro?
So the whole idea of it is this: one, it's not money to begin with. It's at this point, it's just digits on numbers on a screen, right? It's not real money. It has no backing. It has no. The value is based on what we are willing to do for it, right? As individuals, we just lost these banks last week, right? And people are talking about it. And here goes the sad part, right? In the marginalized communities, there's no conversation because it's not relevant to them. Because most people in marginalized communities carry more money in their pocket than they do in their banks. Yep. If they have bank accounts that are not, online electronic, right? If they don't have brick and mortar bank accounts, if they do, right? So the idea of what's going on with these banks not being solvent, right? With not being able to bring bear cash on demand based on their deposits, and this is why they're closing and the FDIC is taking over. What you got to understand, folks, is when you take your money to the bank or run it through the bank, it was never there, right? Because as soon as they got those digits, they took those digits and put them in a room with another digit to gain anywhere from 5 to 11% interest based on whatever fund that they invest in, and they give you back 0.05% maybe on your savings, right? And they're doing all of the things that I preach about doing with life insurance and all other kind of investment vehicles with your money. Starbucks is famous for that. Starbucks folks, they one of the biggest banks. Yeah, okay. They're one of the big. They're so slick.
Sound like we got a black-owned coffee shop to go to here locally.
You know what?
Listen,
put that mic down
I was going to get to that on the other thing, but I'm glad you mentioned it. Last week was Black Restaurant Week here in Richmond, right? And I got a thing about that, right? If you got a black business, right? If you got a black business, I'll go to your business, but I ain't coming back if you're not good.
Why should you though?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So listen.
Service, no matter what you look like.
I will take my money to the white man if he provide a better service than you, my brother.
I don't see a problem with that. But you know what's funny about that, John? I'm glad you made that point, because you got those folks who very well could be listening and watching us right now. They will call us coons. They will call us sellouts. And they will call us Uncle Toms, even though they use the phrase improperly, as Sambo, you dumb ass.
Because Uncle Tom was not.
Uncle Tom was an ally. Yeah. Read the book. I hate when people do that.
Haven't read the book.
I hate when people do that. That's when they show the English.
Hide something from somebody black. You know what you do. Put it in the book.
And then, it's funny about that because I talk about 2 + 2 = 5 conversations. Anytime somebody wants to call somebody, you are Uncle Tom. 2 + 2 is 5.
I'm done, right?
Because you're
go around the corner with the flat
earthers. You're the dummy in the analogy here. you know what I'm saying? I just so that was the shade I wanted to throw. I didn't really have a point other than shade. Go ahead, John.
Here's what Starbucks does, right? These big businesses, right? So it's like Starbucks, right? Like McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't make money selling burgers. McDonald's is in real estate, right? They own every piece of property that there's a McDonald's on. They own it, right? This is where they make their money. They own real estate. The burgers make them nothing. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, Starbucks. Starbucks isn't selling coffee. Starbucks is a bank. They have people buy points, right, and spend in their store. So instead of just giving them a $20 bill or swiping your card, you buy some points, right? When you buy the points, they take the money and they put it in investments, right? They're holding your money, your 20 points, your 30 points or whatever, until you buy coffee, and they're investing that money, right? They're investing it.
As a as an avid Starbucks person, that's not how the points work. And I get what you're saying.
No, you can earn. You can earn points.
Where Starbucks makes a lot of money is more how people are. If they are buying a gift card, most of those go used and things like that. That's where that is.
But also
But
you can earn points, right?
Yes.
But what happens is, right, because of the incentivized nature of discounts and different things that you can get, people will buy points. People will put money on their card, people put money on their Starbucks card and use the card instead of using their credit card or
their cash.
Back to this. Let's go back to my green thing. Listen to me real quick.
Let me get a comment in. Uncle H is checking us out, y'all.
What's up,
Uncle H is here. He says, I'm back late, but I'm in the house. And then he says, they ain't read the book, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
They really didn't.
So he knows, John.
No,
listen to me.
Thank you, Uncle H.
If you can hear me, listen to me. Because I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if I told y'all this before. I was leaning on that, but it doesn't matter because unfortunately in marginalized communities, it doesn't make a difference.
True.
It means nothing to them. It's
the banks.
It means these banks became non-solvent because they could not produce cash on demand based on their deposits.
True.
No bank can because they don't hold your money. They move those digits into other investment interests and they make money, right? And we're speaking about the bank, one of these banks here in Richmond, right, who have nobody on staff who does investments.
Yes.
So they hold money in the bank doing nothing.
Yeah. And the interest rate is little to nothing.
Right. Because
it's even less than the larger bank.
Because they don't have a team. Most banks have teams of people who invest the money that's there.
Yes.
They're actually just holding it. They're really a piggy bank.
You would get the same results holding it at home.
Right. Absolutely. So but again, back to my thing. Here's my thing.
One more comment. Let me get it in and you finish your point. Legacy and a radio alumni. I always like to get alumni in. Our sister Ashley Jefferson is checking us out.
Ashley.
Very Ashley.
Very Ashley.
Very Ashley.
I got a couple of events I need
to
pop up in there for.
Stony Point Mall, Richmond, Virginia.
Stony Point Fashion Park.
Yeah. Right here in Richmond, Virginia. Go drop in her store and check her out because it's outstanding.
As a lady, go and luxuriate.
Metropolitan Business League Entrepreneur of the Year nominee.
Yes. She says Starbucks has several $1 billion in revenues. I know this for sure because I myself has over $100 saved on my Starbucks card. Starbucks makes interest off this money, and that interest is a large portion of their income.
I don't disagree with that.
Jump in here, John.
So my thing is this, people, and this goes back to my green talk. Listen to me. Stop spending cash, right? Stop using debit cards. When the bank sends you the debit card, burn it or put it in the drawer, right? Don't use it, right? You are throwing away money. Every credit card that is in existence, or how about this? Any credit card that's worth having will give you at least a penny for every dollar that you spend. Why on earth are you spending money and not getting any back? If I spend $100, I get $1, right? What you do is whatever cash you were going to spend, use the credit card, and before the due date, pay that amount, right? You would have gotten minimum 1%. You got cards that give a nickel on the dollar.
Most cards give more than the bank.
A credit card to give you a nickel on the dollar. Sometimes if you do travel points, they double it up. Y'all need to go look at my TikTok. I be traveling, y'all. They double up the points.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They double up the points and the miles and all this other kind of stuff. Stop spending cash. Cash is an illusion. It's bullshit, right? It's only numbers on a screen. Start using your credit cards, getting your points back. And for all of you worried about the banks failing, stop, because that ain't y'all. Y'all not in that club, because if you was in that club, you wouldn't be worried because you'd understand that the reason we will not have another Great Depression, because in 1933, we developed the Social Security system and a few other things. And then in 1963, we went off the gold standard. We on fiat money, and all we doing is transferring one debt from one pocket to the other. So there will never be a run on the banks like it was before because the Fed would just print more money like they did for COVID. And we're going to be fine. Those banks failed because they were primarily investing in crypto, and crypto is not cash, it's a barter system, right? So you fantastic, phantasmagorical people who want to make a fortune in crypto, it's not for that. It's to alleviate that. You use your points in crypto with other people that use crypto, so you barter the value of what you trade in other than cash. You understand? People want to hold the crypto and cash out, holding cash. That's why stuff is crashing. Because y'all trying to make it a cash vehicle, and that's the whole. It's the whole point of making it crypto was for it not to be a cash vehicle. But y'all want to put taxes on and do it. Whole nother topic. Get with me separately about your investments. But on this portion of Green Talk, first things first, the bank's failing don't concern you, because if it concerned you, you wouldn't be concerned. And stop spending your cash.
Ain't no how Steph Marcus here live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Aubrey says thanks for the gem on credit card versus cash debit. So he's feeling you on that, and he's thanking you for that. Ain't no how Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. All right, y'all. You ready to shift? Y'all ready to shift, man? You know, it's funny. Yeah, let us roll. For the people who have been living under a rock, or maybe born after the 70s, Let Us Move On comes from Boogie Down Productions. Love's Gonna Get You. That song came out in 1990. I was in high school. Where was you at, Steph, in 1990?
I was getting ready to go to high school.
Where was you?
It was my last year of middle school.
Where was you at, John, in 1990?
Damn.
1990.
Give me a month.
Man, just
John, why would you do
you
it?
gotta be an extra like that. Why
John?
you gotta do it to us all the time, Steph?
John.
In 1990, I was taking care of my newborn son.
Thank you. That's what he had to say the first time.
Wait, okay. Lord.
Yeah, he's older than us.
But you know what's so weird?
We 70s babies.
6 years later, I had my first
He's a
son.
60s
So our
baby.
kid, that will show you how close a Generation X baby boomer life can be. Because only 6 years later, my firstborn was born.
I enjoy picking on John though. John's great, man.
I like that old John is back.
Yeah, that's why we fired up.
digging
Yeah,
it.
man.
Digging old John. GOP John.
Yeah. Hey, look, you know
And
what's best
still
part?
got the fast money conversations.
You know
that
what
I
is
love.
best part,
Thank
right?
You, John.
You can tell we love each other, right?
Oh well, I dig you, brothers.
Can you tell? Can you tell I love him? That's my brother, man.
And you
I
know
love
what?
this dude,
I wanna say, like,
Yeah.
the communities that both of you build extend themselves. So for shout out to Ashley Jefferson. She reached out to me about the situation I discussed last week.
Yeah.
And Ashley and I had been in the same room before all of that, but never really connected. And then John created that connection, and now it's a part of my sisterhood. And when someone reaches out and they're like, I'm sorry you experienced that, and it's another woman and they understand, and immediately I was like, that's because of my brotherhood too that brought it in. So shout out to Ashley.
Let me tell y'all something though. This RVA thing is real.
Yeah.
Right. And it's part of it. It has two sides to it, right? And it's hard for me. It had been hard for me, but it's getting easier as a New Yorker, as a kill everything and let God sort them out person, right?
That's real
that
shit,
doesn't
though.
fly. That
That's some
doesn't
real
fly
shit.
in Richmond, right? Because you can open a restaurant on one corner and 2 doors down, open another restaurant, sell the same exact food, right? The same menu. Them people from the first restaurant is going to come 2 doors down and talk to you and tell you about the things you need to do in your business, what the city's going to expect of you, how this is going to happen. They're going to talk to you about the foot traffic. They're going to do that. I come from, if you come from 2 doors down in the restaurant, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And I might mean that literal and figuratively because I need to win. I come from a place where there is no second place. You either the first place or you another loser.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't lose. I either win or learn. So
I love Richmond for that.
Switching gears into the Richmond lifestyle. But the other side of that is it doesn't foster initiative where excellence can be prevalent. And part of that has to do with the old money.
Yeah.
Right. This is a little continuation of the Green Talk. There are people who have money, families who have money here in Richmond, who've had that money since the tobacco factories was tobacco factories and they were renting slaves. Right. Right. So they had that money then. And that's the same money they got. They have an estate that might be worth $50, $100 million. So they can't have new money come into the community and make money where the community grows in value because it devalues their 100. Nothing getting added to their 100. They catching their interest every year, 5 to 10%. They're good with that, right? They own the property that they own. They make money. Their money allows them influence within political realms, and it gets them the things that they need. If other people in the community have money too, right, it weakens their position. So they keep a certain amount of mediocrity as the way of life, right? So people don't have that same kind of aggression and tenacity, right? So that's part of it. It's a funny line to walk on where you are kind and good to your neighbor, but at some point, somebody's got to want to win. It's not good enough just to survive. And most of Richmond businesses, as I see them, are happy to survive.
You know, I have Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Shout out to our brother James who's checking us out. He says, "Preach, brother," and then he says, "Yes, indeed." He says, so he is showing us love, James. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Ashley is continuing to listen, and I love her comment. I love her comment. She's got the comment of the night. She says, "I love you, Steph. Sisterhood." Yeah. Two
It's
sisters.
real. It's real.
Two sisters who I really, really love because I see how y'all move and I appreciate how y'all lead and how you support one another and how y'all support our community. So I appreciate you, Steph, and I appreciate you, Ashley. You are such an outstanding person. And thank you for being my sisters. Ain't no how Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. All right. So let's move to the next topic. All right. So we are almost a quarter past our second hour. And so we have probably about 20 minutes to do a bunch of stuff. And so we're going to quick hit this.
Lightning
and
round.
So I'm going to need y'all to see me when I'm going.
John, you looking? Talking about y'all. See, and the one who
So when I'm doing all
down.
of that, like that means, let's get it. Let's get it. I want to see too. Damn.
You can't.
Shoot.
You can't comment.
Man, I'm not gonna comment, but you showing pictures. Steph, I want to see the pictures, John.
Gemini out.
You know what I'm saying? Show them. We're gonna show in the camera sees them.
Cannot leave a Gemini out. He don't know. He don't know.
He
don't know.
What kind of person is he, Steph? Is he a good person? Is he a good person?
He's a good person.
Yeah.
He got a good heart. We'll let him. We'll let him live.
Should we be nice to him?
Yes. Oh gosh.
Love you, John. All right. You know, I have Steppin, Marcus J, live for NewDen Legacy in that radio. Yeah, John got dressed up. He put on shoes.
He always got. He put on a suit.
He put on a shoe. But you know what I noticed? He ain't got no tie on. Yeah.
Sharp without it.
Yeah. Every second and third Thursday. Simone B.
Yeah. My brother. Yeah, I love doing the show with him. I love doing the show with him. And I Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in their radio. All right, so we about to piss off a segment of our listening audience. And
should they tune out now?
No,
stick around.
They should stick around.
Be mad.
Be mad. But we're going to work our way through this. Okay. I'm going to read a definition and then I'm going to say what that definition is for. And then we're going to build and bond. You ready? You ready?
Hit it.
All right. You ready for the question? Ready for the question? Ready for the question? All right. Prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age is the definition of ageism. Ageism. Ageism is prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age. Now, why are we talking about this? You know, there are a lot of situations that come up that would cause us to want to talk about ageism. I think the easiest one would be the presidency. I was very open in 2000 and what year are we in? 20
So it's 2019,
2020. What year did we elect Joe Biden?
21.
We elect
2020, 2021. I don't know.
yeah, the years begin.
We put a dub on that 2020.
Yeah, because it was 16 when we
he came.
screwed
Yeah,
up.
he came in 2021,
And
but we elected him in
20
2020.
Yeah,
It was 16 when we screwed up.
and when we screwed up, right? So it was 2020, right?
Wasn't
So
our fault.
I remember because see,
Really?
I like saying this next part. It's a little
He
bit
shouldn't
of
have ran.
it's a little bit of strategic arrogance coming. But since we've been on the radio and in podcast form for the last almost 12 years, I got a lot of presidents that we've been talking about during their run up for president. We've been on the air since Barack Obama was president. Right? First time. And we chronicled his second run. And then, you know, the other guy, you know, that had Michael Jordan's 1995 number with the Bulls. And then that was smart humor. You got to catch up and understand what I said. And the guy that we got now, who's 80 years old. He's 80 years old. An 80-year-old president, yo. 80-year-old president. 80-year-old president, though, for real. 80? 80? The president is 80? 80, yo. 80?
You're the worst.
80?
You really
Come on,
are being
man.
the worst
Come on,
right
man.
now.
Come on,
I
man.
got some
Come
for
on,
you.
man. The president of the United States is 80.
I hope
And
nobody
he's
80
hey, look, look.
because you are really saying
I'm
it.
saying
in a
nothing that I ain't said
look.
to the people around me that's 80 or close to it. They all know how I feel. And even if they didn't, they know now. The president of the United States is 80, though. 80.
I'm about to get on it.
Hold on,
I
because
need to
I'm
hear
I'm
this.
I'm on
I'm
a soapbox,
very-
right?
yes, please.
And I'm short, so I need this box.
You got your chair up higher today.
80, yo. The president of the United States is 80. 80.
80.
So-
for our Spanish speaking listeners.
Yeah, but John wants to arrest anybody that says
now
that.
I'm in
They
trouble.
can't say it in public, not around John, and not too
80.
loud because they're going to jail.
Salvador Dirigente.
You know what?
Yeah, come on, man.
Hate y'all.
Let me
I'm out.
let me
I'm leaving.
let me just recalibrate. Let me recalibrate. I'm gonna be
Okay.
serious for a second.
All
I'm gonna be
right, all right,
serious. I'm gonna be
for
serious. I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna be serious.
Baco.
The president of the
Joe
United States
Biden
is
is
80 years old, and on top of him being 80 years old, that means he was born a long time ago in the 20s or the 30s.
30s.
The
Not
30s,
even
right?
40s.
You being so mean, right?
The
He's
40s.
born in the
The
40s,
40s.
yeah.
Yeah, the 40s. All right, I messed it up. I messed it up. I Chris rocked the
I
joke.
thought you were doing it on purpose.
I Chris rocked the joke, right? The punchline, the part that I wanted everybody to think was funny, I messed it up like Chris Rock, right?
He scrubbed that.
Yeah, I scrubbed it, but I'm not going to like
not gonna
erase
scrub
it out of this dub like he did for Netflix,
Yes.
right? You know, but here's the thing.
He was on the planet the same time as Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that? You know what I'm saying?
Go,
So,
guys.
but in all seriousness, right? He's talking about running again.
He's not talking about it. He's basically committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's committed.
you know,
He needs to be.
I don't, you know, it's hard for me, right, to even say it. Like I did the whole theatrics thing, and I was wilding a minute ago, but really, it's really simple language that I want to use here. Like, do we really want a person who's going to be 81, 82 years old during the next time we vote for a president to be running, and we potentially vote for a person at the end of their term could be 86 years old? Now, you'll hear those talk about how he's gotten clean bills of health from his doctors, and but for the little piece of cancer that they took off his chest or whatever it was a little while ago, and then when you see his the videos, yeah, and when you see the videos of him, he looks healthy, he moves around well, he moves around better than people that are a lot younger than him. And
He's also got better health care than any of us have
I
ever
can dig
had.
it.
No, me and him got the same.
But here's the thing, right? We live in a country where the majority of the people who are around are not of his generation. And as we talked earlier, is there a baseline for decorum? Like, is there a baseline for people to be bouted and be able to lead and understand folks ahead of them and folks are behind them? Ain't nobody ahead of the guy that's 80. Ain't nobody ahead of him, And I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I promise you I'm not. But at 40, I'll be 49 years old. Yeah, I mean, if I am, I just am. And if you don't like it, turn the channel. Like I'm that guy for real. But I'll be 49 years old this year. 49 years old on June 3rd of this year. Right smack dab in the middle of middle age, right? And I think those of us who in this general age, middle-aged people really get it. Like, we love ourselves because we Gen Xers, and I honestly think that we're the greatest generation ever because we remember walking up to the TV and turning the channel, but then we know that everything is in the little funky phone here. Like,
we were the first ones.
We're the first. We're the first ones that went from no technology to a whole lot of technology.
Analog
like I remember,
digital, baby.
My father had an 8-track cassette, a CD, and now he has chestnuts roasting on an open heart, like all of that in every single Christmas song version, every version of music. Right? Us middle-aged folks, we can go both ways. 80 years old president. So ageism. Like, I wanted to wild out, have a little fun, and get a little bit crazy with it. There's some crazy that comes with me, but maybe we don't apply the ageism to the president. Maybe we apply ageism to other stuff. Is it a real thing? Do we discriminate from older people? Do we think that they are less capable? Joe Biden, doesn't matter how you feel about how he leads as president for the purpose of this discussion. I don't care about none of that. I really don't. Because if you see him, he look like he move around better than people a lot less his junior. Clearly, right? So he looks like he's in good shape to be 80 plus.
To be 80.
Physically. He moves as good or as better than people a lot younger than him. So we tripping off of his age? Am I tripping off of his age? Let's talk about it. John, you up first.
He might move. He definitely moved better than me. Y'all seen me on the stairs.
Oh.
Right. So that's the first thing. Second thing,
you got hardwood floors with socks on. You just ain't one fall, bro.
Yeah, nah, but still,
please don't
even
fall.
if I didn't, I use one leg, the other one ain't no good when it comes to stairs. It's all good. I could not do that little hop he do up the stairs to the Air Force One and none of that. So, God bless him. But real simple. If there's a limit, there should be a maximum. That's it. If you too young, then there's some place where you too old. It's real simple. They got to be 35 to be president, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That means by the time you turn 80, right? No, when you turn 72, right? That's when you eligible, I think, now for Social Security or whatever on the full thing.
Is it 72 now?
I think it's 72. So that's when you fully eligible. That means that's the year, the oldest you could be to begin serving your term, so that by the time you 80, you can't run no more.
I can dig it.
That's a reasonable
reasonable
amount of time. So 35, you got to be 35 to be president, right?
Yeah.
So you can't start campaigning and then turn 35 to 9. You 35, you start your run. So 35 start your run, 72 in your run. That's it.
I'm good with that.
That's reasonable. And it's not ageism, it just is what it is. Because here comes the facts, right? Your brain ain't developed till you 26. how you gonna run the world and you ain't even 35, right? So they put a minimum on it. 35, you gonna run for president, right? Real simple. I don't got a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with it when I was 25. It made sense to me then, because I'm a reasonable individual, right? So if you tell somebody, listen, 72, you in good. I mean, look, I watch my man Stallone just had a
Oh, I
TV
love
show,
that show.
right? And he's 75. He knocking down
Looks
women
good.
half his age. He looking good. He doing all this stuff, running, throwing some punches.
Tulsa King.
Right.
Tulsa King.
Right. But
Tulsa King.
but look, nah, Stallion. No, not president. No. And he talk about running. We stay in the Biden camp. Does that mean we automatically get President Kamala Harris?
Kamala.
You're gonna just say her name wrong on purpose?
Oh, my bad. Kamala Harris?
you didn't do that on purpose.
I didn't do it on purpose.
I don't think
Okay,
you
I
did.
believe him. I believe
I
him.
don't think you did.
Yeah, I believe
I
him.
wasn't.
Ain't no hashtag
I
Marcus
wasn't
J.
Uganda joining her. My bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying no, because I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately.
Yeah.
So like the cousins of the Samoan thing, I watched this other day.
Usos.
They just, oh my God, the family's so deep. Anyway,
You too.
The
My-
Hanoi family.
my whole point is we gotta put this thing under control. And here goes another thing, y'all. That's with anything, right? I don't want, check this out, right? I barely want to drive and I'm 55, right? I know like this. I know I used to drive fast for no reason, right? Just because the car had a gas pedal, right?
And you knew where it was at.
Right.
And you mashed on it.
Right.
Mashed.
Right? Like if y'all
That's an old person
listen,
word, ain't
people,
it? It is. I
look.
just caught it too.
People, y'all, if y'all not from New York or the tri-state area, we have these streets, right? Where there are parked cars, right? There are parked cars on both sides of the street, right? And it's just one lane to go down. I would go down these streets
Young
at like
folks don't say
70
dash.
miles an
No.
hour, right? And stuff like that, just because my reflexes don't allow that anymore. I drive at the speed limit or under. I'm both hands on the wheel, and I'm double and triple checking everything
And
because
2 and 10.
Huh?
2 and 10.
Yeah, 2 and 10. 2 and 10.
Which that's not how they teach
2
anymore.
and 10.
2 and
Eyes
10.
checking. Eyes checking everything, checking mirrors every 4 seconds.
I ain't
all
gonna
the
lie, I
time.
do it too.
So listen, and it's nice
Cruise
and,
control.
nice and slow. I don't even play the music in my car no more.
He told me that.
I
He
don't
told
play
me that
the
a
mu-
long time
You know what?
ago.
I sit up
Silence?
and I
He
and
drives in silence.
Serial
You know
killer.
why?
He
Because
told me that.
Because I listen to the car and to the road.
He told me that
So
a
that I know
long
what's going on while I'm driving.
He told me that a long time
Oh,
ago,
God.
out of context. Like it wasn't like we wasn't doing a show. It was no shoot. It was no kayfabe. It was a real conversation. He told me he drives in the car in silence so he can monitor what's going on and be in his thoughts.
Listen,
You know what?
That's what he told
We're
me.
not 55. We're not 52. We're not 50.
We ain't
You
50.
We're not 50. You don't know.
I don't.
so what
You don't know if
and here-
that's what you're gonna be
and here-
doing.
and here goes my point.
I might do that tomorrow.
When you're
check it
when you're self-aware, you don't have a problem with somebody telling you, you're a little bit old for this, right? Because you look at things different.
He knows
you,
too.
You go,
Yeah.
you listen. You walk up on a platform or something, and you look. There was many years where you just jump off of it. Not no more. You think about it, you go, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
That is dangerous. I saw a comedian do that. He stood up on the chair and the thing. He was like, to somebody over 40,
I
this
saw
is
that.
and that's true. This dangerous. I ain't doing nothing dangerous. I don't want to be responsible for more stuff. Look, I got 15 pills that I got to take every day.
That's some middle
I
aged
break-
shit
listen,
right there,
listen.
boy.
I
It
break
don't get
them-
no more middle
No,
aged than I got
listen,
15 pills.
I break
Young
them down.
girls, y'all hear this?
Hey,
You gonna be doing his Monday,
That's
got
Tuesday,
it.
look.
Wednesday,
In a
Thursday.
little
Young girls. That's number 16 pills. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that later.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
Here we
But
go.
my whole point is, I break that down into 3 segments of the day: morning, afternoon, evening. I take my 15 pills, 5 at a time,
Plus one,
Right?
depending on what's going
depending
on.
on the situation. Plus one.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, the whole point is, understanding what being responsible is knowing yourself, knowing your limitations.
Yeah.
And it ain't no such thing as ageism if you're responsible and you understand what's going on.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. First of all, I love y'all.
Not what I thought you were gonna say, but
I love y'all so much, man. This is so much fun. All right, so we getting some love from my cousin Gina is checking us out, and I love her so much, man. My cousin Gina is checking us out, and Gina loved me so much when I was a little boy. She's my big cuz. She's gonna be 60 on the Ides of March. Day after tomorrow. Yeah, Julius Caesar. And that's one of the reasons that's not how I know her birthday, because that's my
she the one took you to the movie and scared you.
Nah, that's a different story.
Okay.
But cousin Gina is cousin Terry's big sis.
Oh, hey,
yeah.
All right, cuz.
Yeah. So cousin Gina is listening. Cousin Gina, let me just look into the camera. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for rocking with us. I appreciate you so much. Happy birthday. Blessed or strong. And just thank you for loving me the way you love me. And I know how much you love me. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Just wanted to give you the love and this and everything that you deserve. So I appreciate you. Aubrey is saying, I believe what John says has a lot of truth, because I turn the radio down when I'm parking. Yeah, I do that too. Sue says, except the music part. I feel you, John. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. All right. So this next topic is gonna say something. All right, I'm gonna give you ageism. I'm gonna give you ageism, and I'm sorry I didn't give you an opportunity to give you that. And thank you, and I'm gonna let you give your comment. Then I want you to lead into the next. I want you to lead into the. I want you to take the first. I want you to take last comment on this and the first comment on the next thing, because we didn't get an opportunity. So I'm gonna introduce this, and then we're gonna go into our closing stage of the show. But Steph's gonna comment on ageism, but I want to introduce the Oscar snub with Angela Bassett not winning and her reaction, and Jamie Lee Curtis winning the Oscar last night for Best Supporting Actress. So I want to introduce that. Steph, talk about ageism, go from ageism into that piece. Yeah. And then, John, I want you to address that piece. If you choose to, I will have the final word and lead us into the final stage of our show. So, Steph, ain't no how Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Steph.
So agreed. Absolutely. It is. Am I on? It is very much. You should be very aware of your capabilities and where you stand and what you can and cannot do. That's absolutely true. I think the problem with ageism becomes when we make a blanket statement about what someone is capable of based on that, or where someone should be based on that, or how someone should be dressed based on that. And ageism is funny because you don't have to be 80 for it to be lobbed at you. You know, I have been watching the nature of the word auntie. So it's interesting. We're going to talk about Angela Bassett. I've watched the nature of the word auntie trend from 70 to 60 to 50 to where now 20-something-year-olds are calling 30 and 40-year-olds auntie. I ain't your auntie, Pooh. I still twerk in the mirror. I'm not your auntie. Some days I might go off on you. I ain't your auntie. I'm still learning. I need Michelle Wilson sometimes to check me. So, you know, and then on the same token, she and I, you know, I give her a lot of shout outs because we really, as her as someone senior to me, we have some serious conversations. And she often talks about how people belittle you or immediately, not just belittle, but eliminate your value because of age, and how sometimes younger people will do that, and assume you're no longer relevant to the conversation because of where you are in that phase of your life. And so ageism is really impactful in the Black community in the sense that so many of our elders are dismissed. And we still need their wisdom and things like that, and so I do hear that a lot, where ageism becomes this exclusionary thing. And on the same token, you know, listen, the United Nations was formed, I think Joe Biden was 3. Philippines was not a country yet until he was in elementary school, late elementary school. A second term limit was introduced after he was born. There are a lot of things that occurred. NATO wasn't formed until after he was born. So
he sat the Senate with Strom Thurmond.
And Strom Thurmond was a much younger man. I mean, I was in, I think, late high school when he was hitting 100, right? And so there is something to be said for immediately eliminating the voice of someone because they are elder. Joe Biden has forgotten more about politics than Lauren Boebert will ever know. Right? As an 80-year-old man, Dr. Fauci, as an 80-year-old man, clearly on point, so I don't like dismissing people because of age. And I also think that if we do that, then we have to ask about Max Frost, who's a 24-year-old Gen Z congressman. There are a lot of people that will say, okay, you were in a school shooting. I'm sorry that happened. Why does that qualify you to sit in Congress? And I am one of those people that would ask that question because I have a 25-year-old. And so I love my 25-year-old and I value her opinion, but I'm not asking you to vote for her for your next representative in Congress. So we need to look at age and really preface it on knowledge, experience, understanding, and application. So I love what you said there, John. But yeah, 24, we could truly be saying he hasn't experienced enough in life to be making rules, regulations. He's purely at this point legislating or feeling. Feeling in his limited experience, although something very significant, but it's an experience in one space. I was sitting in high school, some nut job came in, shot it up. I'm mad about the gun laws. Now I'm going to be, a congressman. And so I think there needs to be some limitations there on age, because I don't think he's necessarily ready. And something he said in an article a couple of weeks ago clarified that I think he knows I'm not fully with it yet.
If you can be too young, you can be too old.
If you can be too old, you can be too young, and vice versa. So absolutely. And whether, I think Biden owes it to the American population to be extremely thorough in his review. Because I saw him walking in the room the other day with Chuck Schumer, and they were arm in arm, and they looked like they were holding each other up. Because even being well 480, you're still 80. And we don't need in this turbulent time, we don't need a president, biting it in the White House, and we end up with, Kevin McCarthy or some other craziness. So it is important. Now, Dottage, oh my gosh. Okay, so now, first of all, let's go ahead and all age, let's acknowledge age here. Angela Bassett looked like an entire snack at the Oscars. As a cis hetero woman, I have no problem saying she looked edible and beautiful and gorgeous. And I think there'll be a lot of 20, 30s, and 40-year-olds that would struggle to compete with the tone of that woman's arms and the beauty that she had. And she just looked gorgeous. I think they overthought the expression on her face. The cameras are on you when you're told what you're told, when you didn't win. The cameras are on every single person present. I think you got the natural reaction to losing. Doesn't matter who it is. It's just like, damn, I've won all these awards all year long. As a matter of fact, winning Golden Globe, or whatever it was right before that, is the run up to the Oscars. And she won. So it's kind of almost like, in some people's minds, a foregone conclusion. I think she had a natural reaction. I do think that sometimes as Black women, we are held to a level of accountability and a standard that nobody else is held to. Everybody's reading into our tone, our facial expression, our body language. Sometimes it's the nature of just who we are. And I think they're overstating it. I also think that it's not unusual that she lost. It's a Marvel movie. And I a lot of times when I watch movies that were nominated by the Oscars, I'm like, really? Because I'm just, maybe it's too deep for me. I doubt it, but maybe. I've seen a lot of Oscar nominated movies or Oscar winning movies where I just didn't think it was everything they made it out to be. I think they have a very hard time giving an action movie like a Marvel movie, not that everything and whatever it was, that other thing that won, but I think they have a very hard time giving best actress to someone in a Marvel movie. And they kept prefacing that in a lot of the run up to this. But I truly don't think there was anything wrong with her face. Also, if there was, well, I can't be disappointed that I lost to anybody if I think I'm a winner. If I'm sitting in the audience and I lose, and I know, I mean, I was president of my debate team. I wanted to win every time. There was never a time I was a good loser. I'm never going to be a good loser. And if that's what you're looking for, you better take the camera off me, because you're going to see in my face that I don't think I need to lose at any point, because I win and I put in winning performances in my day-to-day life. So if you want to see somebody happy about losing, look somewhere else. Period.
Oh, that was some bullshit the other night. I'm gonna start out just like that.
Did you see both movies?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the other one. I didn't see Jamie Lee Curtis.
And here's what I'll say, and this is the bottom. So shit is so easy. Like, and this is what pisses me off, right? I'm not that smart. I know I'm not, right? But here's real simple. Take Jamie Lee Curtis. I ain't got no beef with her. Put her in Wakanda Forever and give her the performance. And then take Angela Bassett and put her in Everything, Everywhere, Always, whatever, all that shit. Put her in all that shit and give her the same performance. And Jamie Lee Curtis would win in the Marvel movie, right? Because she white. Angela Bassett would not win in the other movie because she black. Now people are gonna say, "Oh, well, they gave it to Michelle the China,
Michelle Yeoh,
and they also took 24 days to create a law to stop people from beating up Asians." All right, so stop it. Angela Bassett rocked that whole thing. She was that movie. She created an atmosphere in the trailer that caused people to push that movie over $1 billion, right? Supporting actress. She gave more to that film than Jamie Lee Curtis gave to the other film. The other film had twice the action. Jamie Lee Curtis doing kung fu in the movie.
Oh, I know.
You understand? Had twice. It wasn't about no action. That was a cartoon movie. As much, if not more so, Wakanda Forever was far more a dramatic film than all that shit movie. I just can't remember the sequence of the words, but we just call it all that shit. Right, all that shit. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Damn shit wasn't Oscar worthy. I can tell you that right now. I put it online with the other with Bullet Train, which I liked and other people didn't like, but I loved it. They're about the same movie to me. Right? So, Angela Bassett killed it. They robbed her. They snubbed her. And part of why they robbed her and snubbed her, the main part is she too black and she looked too good. At a certain point, and I have this conversation with women all the time, especially my black women, my sisters. I'm going to apologize in advance because the shit ain't right, but it just is what it is, right? Other women and your sisters are never going to really give you what you need to get, especially if you're doing it looking good.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if they think you got it all, why am I giving you something else? They look at Angela Bassett. What are you giving her an award for? Look at her. Look at her. I ain't give her shit. Give it to Jamie. Give it to Jamie. Jamie need that. Jamie need that boost. Feel better. Right? She need that. And Angela don't need it. She got the Golden Globe. Look at her. She look good. Who she thinks she is? Yeah, give it to. And that's the reality of it. And unfortunately, that type of attitude shows its face in women's issues. And the problem is we only have women issues because we're dealing in a misogynist society, right? In a world that's built around marginalizing women, right? That's also based on, racism, white supremacy, and other. And people adapted their behavior into it and made it much worse than it needs to be. But all of that type of behavior comes down to people not giving things its proper merit, not putting things in their proper forum, and compartmentalizing and understanding and critically analyzing different situations. It is not even close to think that those two performances from those two actors, not actresses, those two actors were even comparable. Of the people who were nominated for that category, Angela Bassett's performance of that character far exceeded all the others. Full stop.
Ain't no half step and Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. I did not see the Jamie Lee Curtis movie. I have seen the Angela Bassett movie. I am a fan of Angela Bassett. I'm a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm a fan of both of them. I saw one performance. So I am not one who can speak specifically on the performances and how the performances lined up against one another and who should have won and all of that kind of stuff. What I will say is I agree with John. He stole a little bit of my thunder with regards to how Angela Bassett's performance caused us to want to watch Black Panther, largely because of one, who she is, and two, who she is in the franchise. Jamie Lee Curtis is a wonderful actress. I've been following her my entire life. Her lineage is well known. Her dad, her mom, they're actresses. They were both nominated for Academy Awards. She's been in the game for many, 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 many years. She's a wonderful actress. And I think that it's unfair how she catches shade because how many of us wanted Angela Bassett to win. I don't feel the kind of comfort towards her that would make me want to wish that she had won. That's not what I'm saying. I ain't see her movie. I saw Angela Bassett's movie, and I know Angela Bassett, and I know how she has performed, not just in this movie, but in the history of her performances. And I think it's outrageous that she did not win. And I have spoken to and have seen commentary on people who have seen Jamie Lee Curtis's performance in this movie, and it has more than swayed me towards Angela Bassett's side with regards to who should have won this Academy Award in the Oscars. Full stop, as John would say. Having said that, I don't care about the fucking Oscars. It's the Oscars. Now, I know they care, but I don't care about the Oscars. What I care about is how the internet is throwing shade at Angela Bassett because her face. She ain't win. And it was authentic. Man, some bullshit. They ain't win. Oh, that's what we saw. That's what we saw. We saw the immediate reaction of someone who did not win something that was clearly something that was personal and a part of what they felt they should have won. And what we do, we immediately pounce on their reaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not allowed a little bit of grace for just a minute. Like, when you found that you didn't win something that you had your heart set on, you got dressed and got your makeup done and you got your people to come out and be with you and you got them on TV and all that kind of stuff and you didn't win. Give me a minute, yo. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Angela Bassett, because of who she is and because of the performances that she has shown us, deserves a minute. And I think, the brothers coming out with Hey Auntie and all that, it was great. It was great. That is us giving our sisters and our people a rub, putting them over, showing them love, whatever phrase you want to use. I can dig it. But for those who want to have a lot of disrespect for Angela Bassett because she didn't grin and smile in the moment, in the immediacy of finding that she did not win an award that she had a heart set on and she earned because of her performance, she didn't win. Doesn't mean she didn't earn it. We could argue that they both earned it. I'm not arguing that point. The person won, she didn't win. So we got to argue that they both earned it for the purposes of the Academy Award. But you can't give her a minute. You can't get a minute to Angela Bassett, auntie. She can't get a minute. Knowing the performances she's put on in history, knowing that history has given Denzel Washington an Academy Award for Training Day, when we know that there are other movies that he should have won based upon his performance. There's history and precedent here. When I look at the New York Knicks play the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles yesterday, and we won, we beat their asses. LeBron wasn't there, but neither was Jalen Brunson. But we saw Spike Lee and Denzel Washington sitting courtside in Los Angeles watching the Knicks Lakers game, because they was like, man, ain't nobody going to the Oscars, man. Fuck that shit. And I can dig it. I can dig it, because that'd have been me. Thank you, Aubrey. He says for glory. Yeah. And Malcolm X. Yeah.
Just like Angela got ignored for What's Love Got to Do with It. I mean, that was her Oscar-winning moment.
And John, you're right. He did win for glory. But having said all of that, I can dig the energy. I can dig the energy. Ain't no ask that Mark J. Live from NewDen Legacy and Array. All right, it's time to us to shift to our final stage of the show, where we rant, where we close. This is where I do my moment in Black history. I'm gonna do my moment in Black history. You know what? Tonight, I'm gonna talk about Black history. It's a month after Black History Month. It's March. Black History Month is in February. Here's why I do this every single month. I get sick and tired of, yo, man, it's the shortest month, man. Why we gotta do all that? It's the shortest month. I can't remember who it was who talked the craziness, blasphemy that was prominent and famous last month, that said that we need to, Draymond Green. Draymond Green, the NBA player, said we need to get rid of Black History Month. And he was going down the it's the shortest month path and all that stuff. You know, Malcolm X said that we shouldn't throw shade at folks, and he didn't use the phrase throw shade because we didn't use the phrase throw shade when Malcolm X walked the earth. But he basically was like, you know what? We're not going to clown these people for not knowing what they don't know. And what they don't know, we have to respect the fact that we didn't know certain things at a certain time, you know? And so as we get older and as we gain more knowledge about certain things, we move differently. So I'm not going to throw shade at the folks who say, to give us the shortest month. All I'm going to do is educate you and share with you what I know. And if you still sound stupid the next time I talk to you, then I'll throw shade at you. Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson is the father of Black history. He created Black History Week, and it was determined to be the second week of February because it coincided with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, no brainer, and Abraham Lincoln. It would have been a no-brainer until we know better. But that was the reason why that was chosen. Kent State University in the 70s. These are the people who decided that that week should be expanded. And it was. And it got all the way to the steps of the White House when President Gerald Ford signed Black History Week into Black History Month. That's how we got the shortest month. It came from a Black man who said that Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln should be commemorated. Now, consider the times. But here we are now. When we know better, we should do better. Stop saying we got the shortest month and they shouldn't even stop saying that. Like, really, really, really. Like stop saying that. Right? Like stop saying that. Stop saying that. It ain't got nothing to do with how many days are in the month. It has everything to do with the father of Black History Week wanting to do something. And that something was to commemorate the fact that our history is weaved into the fabric of American history. But they don't give a fuck about that. They don't pay attention to that. So we had to make them. And that's how we did it. And our own people want to throw shade at it. I ain't going to let you do it. I ain't going to let you do it. Not here, not on my watch. You listen to this show, you're going to hear the truth. You're going to hear how we got Black History Month. It ain't because it's the shortest month. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the father of Black History Week, Carter G. Woodson. So I wanted to make sure, I always want to make sure that we put that history out. So that's what we're doing. The moment in Black history here on Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. All right. So before we get to our final rant and our final closing, we got a couple of missing young ladies that we need to look for. And we're doing that here in the Cap City, Henrico County. We're looking for Sanaya Pate. She's been missing since February 27, 2023. She's 16. She is 5'4". She weighs 175 pounds. She was last seen wearing all black clothing, and her hair was in red dyed ends. She has a piercing in each ear and her septum piercing. Because we have two in Henrico County, I'm going to give you both, and then I'll give you how we can contact us if you have put them on your radar, if you've seen them or you know where they're at. Angela Crawford. Angela Crawford's been missing since March 7th, 2023. She's 16-year-old black female. She's 5'3", 120. She was last seen wearing a gray shirt, black puffer, jacket, blue jeans, white shoes, and her hair is styled in long braids. If you have seen Angelique Crawford, if you have seen Sanaya Pate, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact them at 1-800-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. If you're local, contact the Henrico County Police Department at 804-501-5000. 804-501-5000. Sanaya Pate, Angelique Crawford. Ain't No Half Step Marcus J. live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. All right. So here's where we shift to the final stages of the show. This is where we rant. This is where we close. Starting us off is my brother, your brother, our brother John. I'm gonna start calling you John Green since we got the Green Talk. The government is out there, but I appreciate you, man. The way you lead us, the way you unapologetically share how you feel, is a very difficult thing for us to dispute you while not vetting you. And if we vet you, we're gonna automatically learn something. Whether we end up vetting you and disagreeing with you is cool, because we all should be subject to disagreement. John, Steph, yours truly, we should all be subject to folks disagreeing with us. But ain't no way in the world we can vet you and not come away smarter. And so I appreciate you for that. Close us out with your rant, your closing, bro.
Thank you for that, bro. I appreciate it. You made me think of something.
I saw your eyes light up.
A few decades back, when I was declaring my nationality, dealing with a name change, I thought about changing my name so that no one could contradict me. My name was going to be Israel. So, yeah. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So I'm going to do my rant, and I'm going to kind of talk about everything we kind of talked about today. And Marcus bringing up Black History Month. I'm not a person who believes in Black history at all. It's just history, right? It's history, and history for the most part is lies they tell and truths they hide. And that's his story, and that's history. So we can go back and look at all these things and whatever else. If it's anything positive or anything that will promote Black folk or melanated people to feel good about themselves, it will be altered, critiqued, and changed so that it's not so powerful. If it's anything that is derogatory, because nobody is, all on the side of good all the time, it will be promoted. It will be embellished, and it will be made, prominent, like crime and all these other nonsensical things that people associate with melanated folk. Last night at the Oscars, the two young men who are prominent in Hollywood right now, Jonathan, what's his name? Jonathan Major and Michael B. Jordan came on the stage and they said hello to Angela Bassett. She had already lost. And, Marcus and I were talking about some things earlier on the show, and we were discussing certain things about the Black community, the melanated folks community, and things that we do and part of our culture. And I'm going to let, in case there's a few white people out there listening to the show, I'm going to explain to y'all what that meant when they came out there on that stage. At that moment, they knew how she felt. They knew that she felt marginalized. They know that she felt violated and that she was done a wrong. And when they walked out there like they did and said hello to her the way they did, what they told her is, in just those brief words and that nod and that look, what they told her is you say the word, we will tear this whole motherfucker up on your word, right? Or die trying. If you say so. We got you like that. Right here, right now. You say the word and this whole building comes down around everybody because they don't do you like that, not while we here, right? We need more of that for our women, right? I tell people all the time when I talk to people about, relationships and different stuff, I said a woman will be everything you need her to be if she believes that she can stand in a room, right, and say what she want the way she want to say it without a problem because you're her man, right? That makes it happen. And that type of security, that type of support is what allows these women to become to exercise their full potential of greatness and ideas and that, and all of these wonderful things and the way they organize and plan. And this is why they're the most educated people in the country. That's why they open more businesses than anybody in the country. This is why all of this stuff is going on around these melanated women, right? And while we have all of these little dialogues and stuff online and back and forth about, feminine, non-feminine, alpha females and all this crap, it's because they're not getting the kind of support that makes them feel confident enough to be every single thing that they can potentially be. And I wanted to bring a highlight to that very simple gesture of those two young men to that young, beautiful woman who just happens to be not as young as them, who they let know that they had her back. And I can only imagine the feeling that gave her, that afforded her to sit there even in that moment of what felt like rejection and disrespect, to know it's all right because them two right there got me. I'm sure her husband was somewhere in the room and everything, but it's different when it's two young, strong, unapologetically masculine men, melanated men showing that kind of support. And it doesn't take a lot. Real simple. Hey, auntie. That's it. That's all it took. And we knew at home, we knew in the room. We don't got to do a lot of talking because talking got us in trouble back in the day, right? We know how to just say stuff. We know how Marcus and I were talking about side eyes and different things, gestures. We ain't got to talk nods. We know there's different nods. You get the head up nod, you get the head down nod. They mean different things. Head up is cool. Head down is something probably about to pop off. Right? If I give somebody that one, that means me and you about to do something to somebody over there, and you know who it is. If I give you like that, it's cool. I'm cool, you cool, right? See, we ain't got to do a whole bunch of talking about nothing. That's like, what up? 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 What up can mean so many things. And all it has to be is tone. That's the beauty of melanated people, because we were forced to adjust, right? We were forced to make a way where there was no way, right? And this goes back to my talk about money. In fact, the whole thing with the banks collect don't mean nothing to us, because we're gonna make a way. We're gonna find a way, right? We don't know nothing about recession and depression, because all we know is if the bill don't get paid, we get put out. We know that. So you know what we do? We pay the bill because we don't want to get put out. We don't know about calling mommy and daddy. We don't know about getting the bat mitzvah money. We don't know about any of that. We know if we don't pay the bill, we get put out. So we find a way, we make a way. That's who we are. That's what we do. But in my rant, I just want us as a group, as melanated people, to be more conscious of support of one another, but especially of women, men to women, and even more importantly, women to one another as melanated women. More support, less criticism, right? And mind your business and get your money. And that's my rant.
Ain't no how Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Steph, yeah. It's time for you to close us out with your rant, your closing. Thank you for being my sister. What you got, man?
Well, first of all, thank you both, brothers. John, for the NewDen hosting as usual. You are appreciated. I love that GOP John is back. I see the fire, and I love it, and I love that it will bring, I'm sure, with all the things we have coming up politically and in this world, some great conversation. And thank you for the mental stimulus. It is appreciated and necessary. So thank you. Marcus, as usual, thank you so much for everything you do to get this going and keep it going, and for your commitment from your very early Monday morning text message
Before sunrise.
before sunrise to the consistency. You know, there's a lot to be said for consistency. I don't want to overlook either of you brothers in the consistent nature of who you are, because it's not normal. It should be, but it is not. So I appreciate you both for that. I appreciate the love and support. I almost feel bad doing my rant after John and his message of support. But I do feel like it is my responsibility as a Black woman who pays attention to the issues that concern Black girls and Black women, as a Black woman who has a Black daughter who is 25 and now experiencing life as a young adult, in both dating relationships and work and things like that, that for a period of time, I'm going to be centering my rants on the Black women that are listening, and hoping that the Black men that are listening hear and understand and move into a space of support. Recognizing that, one, I am not a misandrist. I don't have a natural dislike for men. I love men very much. I just don't like bullshit.
She loves me, y'all.
I do.
Yep.
And so I want to talk about the term ride or die, which came from biker culture originally. And it meant if you can't ride, you'd rather die. Now, someone who spent quite a bit of time on a Gixxer and loves being a Suzuki, and loves being on a bike. I remember those feelings of summertime and wanting to be out there on the bike and wanting that freedom and everything else. That's a bike. bike's not causing me any harm. If I ride safely, I'm in control and I'm doing the things I need to do. I get where I'm going safely. It's fine for me to feel like if I can't get that measure of freedom, I'd rather die, right? It should not ever be applied to a relationship, ride or die. And I want people to acknowledge that, and I'll say that it shouldn't be applied in the way that it is being applied and that we are responding. So, in speaking to a really good friend of mine, I hear her all the time talk about the responsibility that we as women have, the responsibility in how we manage our bodies and who we give them to, who we engage with, who we speak to, how we represent ourselves, and then the things we do, and then run back to our corner after choosing victimization and crying about that victimization when we know that the individuals we're dealing with are likely to victimize us. And that is happening pretty consistently in our community. So this is a moment of accountability for the sisterhood. There is no one man that you should be ride or die for. I'll ride any any problem out with you or die trying. That is a declarative statement that you should not be making. And I say that because we have never been in a time as Black women where we could apply that blanket statement and get the fruit of our labor and walk away fully satisfied. And then we are mad about it because we didn't get what we wanted from that. But you adopted a statement that was laid upon you. And I'm speaking about that from two perspectives. So one, I was watching a video the other day, and I often hear how Black women are gold diggers and all they want is money. Not too long ago, someone said to me, "All you want is money," and I thought it was hilarious because there's a person I don't ask for money from, nor do I get it. I think I deserve it, but I don't get it. And so I thought it was interesting that this person perceived me as only wanting money when I truly only wanted accountability, inclusion, performance, responsibility, and yes, support. But even more so, in my 40s, I now realize I want more than that. I want more than that. I want you present and performing, and I don't want you asking for things from me that you are not living up to. I don't want to provide for you if you are not providing for me. So I don't want to provide physical engagement to a man who doesn't see me worthy of being provided for. I don't want to provide emotional support for a man that is comfortable seeing me anything other than financially and emotionally supported. I don't want to. It is labor. And often it is labor that is not returned. But you put that labor in and then you get mad when you don't get it, when you don't get it back. Because we don't want to have the conversations before we even engage. We don't want to be told by a man that he isn't good enough before we even engage it, because we know when we hear certain words, it's a trigger and it's a clear truth that he may be telling you. I'll be very honest. Men are more honest with women than we give them credit for. They will say things that we do not want to hear, and we do not give them credit for it because we purged that information for the desire of getting what we want and thinking that what we heard can't possibly be true. And something about me and my gloriousness is going to change this. And it will not. It will not. And that's why when you get into the pejorative nature of the ride or die, which, by the way, only Black women are held to. Spicy Latinas, they don't have to be held to it. They're not even held to. By the way, if Angela Bassett was Zoe Saldana sitting there, they would have never commented on it. We don't get to be spicy. We have to be performative. Black women have to live up to an expectation, ride or die. You don't hear white men telling their wives or their girls or the women in their life, you need to be a ride or die. They don't even get raised that way. And I'm telling you this as a girl who spent my entire life in PWIs, closely speaking to, listening to, hearing what white fathers were telling their daughters. I had dinner with a white girlfriend of mine a few weeks ago, who I speak very frankly with and does the same for me. We had brunch, actually, and she literally was surprised at this commitment that Black women have to the ride or die nature of things. And when she started explaining what her father's expectation was for her in her life, it sounded nothing like the things we are allowing people to tell us we should do, and the nature of what we feel we need to live up to in order to be accepted. It is okay to expect support. It is okay to walk away from someone who calls you a gold digger when they lack gold. We're in a copper community, not even, who's calling us gold diggers. And we're riding or dying for them, and literally dying, because currently the statistic is that 8 Black women die daily at the hands of a partner they chose. You chose that man. And listen, this is a for all of us conversation. Shout out to my sisterhood that just won't accept less, that will walk away when the more they wanted is not presenting itself, that are very comfortable saying, I wanted to drive that car. He wants me to drive that car. He's not the man for me. I'm okay with that girl. You know why? I see her happy because she's living in her truth. And she's not living in a truth that's any different than the white women that many Black men say are leaving us for. She's not living any differently than the Latina women that are being idolized. She is not living any differently or having any different expectations than the Asian women that are being called submissive and loving. They're being provided for because that's an expectation. In the Muslim community, it is known that if a woman decides to work and a man takes her money, he is sinning to accept her money. Her money is hers to do as she pleases. And it's because there is a natural expectation that provision starts with the man. There's a lot of conversation about submission that young women are hearing from young men who have nothing to submit to. I do not want my 24-year-old daughter, 25-year-old daughter to submit to a ride or die mentality because it's clearly not serving our communities. Black women, if you're educating yourself and people are saying you love your degrees more than you love him, keep loving your degree. I promise you it's easier to stay warm at night with your education and the money it provides than the average man you will be exposed to. It is unfortunate, but it is the nature of where we stand. And right now we are committing to this ride or die mentality. I'll say it the way a young woman said that I thought was very interesting. She wasn't young, she was about my age, Latina woman. And she said, you should not be with a man who needs you to help him plant seeds. He should already be gardening. It's one thing to help him water his seeds. He's already planted. But if he is planting and you are gardening, y'all are in different phases here. It's a different expectation. You now will go in and help him identify what seeds to plant because he doesn't have the skill set or the education or the needs or the means. And you also must submit to this gardener that never started a garden. It doesn't make sense. There are plenty of men who want to be in relationships that are healthy. Identify them. They will tell you who they are through their behavior, through their language, through their actions, through how they interact with the last person they were with. Riding or dying is choosing to be baby mama number 4. Sorry, you are not changing him. And if he chooses to not be present, he told you who he was the first 3 times with 3 other people. It's a call to accountability. The deeper I have these conversations with other women, and even with myself, there is a necessity to come to accountability, to stand in the mirror and sometimes acknowledge I am getting exactly what I asked for from the person who offered it. And sometimes that person tells you, I have nothing to offer, and you still thought you could change the nature of dead sand in the middle of what should be your garden. There is nothing to prune there. So identify your mates differently. We all should do that, particularly as Black women. When Black men are very aware that the good ones. Now, there's always a terminology. I'll hear men say, well, you just haven't found a good man. And it is an acknowledgement that they know that their brothers are not good. That's what they're acknowledging. They're telling you, oh, I know they out there. They may not want to address it. They know they're out there. When they're telling you you just haven't found one, think about what he's saying. Oh, yeah, there's terrible ones of us out here. We're out here in droves. But the problem is because we tend to be at a deficit. There's 10 of us for one of them. You're in DC, there's 12 of us for one of them. You accept something that lowers your standards and you get in the car and you ride out with someone who is going to drive you into a ditch. You will die. You have to choose. You have to choose. You have to choose to be alone. I've had to choose to be alone. It's lonely. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely when I start to really process it. I'm alone. I'm not lonely. I'm at my peace. I'm in peace. I'm not, and truly, I'm preaching this to me as much as you. But I think it's important for those of us in our 40s and 30s to remember this as something to repeat, to change the narrative. Somebody gave us the ride or die narrative 20 years ago. I heard this in my 20s. We should not be bequeathing or providing it as a part of a legacy to our young sisterhood who reflect and represent now the greater part of education in this country. Ride alone if the only other option is to die. And that's my rant.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. John, Steph, y'all did the show tonight, man. Y'all did the show tonight, man. I just appreciate it. I appreciate it. You know why I appreciate it? Because you guys have a way of representing different sections of our community, and it's authentic. You know what I'm saying? And I would never be one to say that any of us speak for our masses. Like, we speak our own truth. Our own truth is our own truth. But in the midst of us, speaking our truth, there are many who can identify with the things that we say. So that's my way of getting around it, you know. And I appreciate, John, you so much in the strength of which you speak. And I appreciate you, Steph, so much in the strength in which you speak, because you guys come from different parts of our community, and our community is our village, and our village is what keeps us strong. And you guys keep me strong. And I just fucking fuck with y'all so much for that. I just do so much. So thank you, John. Thank you, Steph. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Ain't no I Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in the radio. I just like saying it. I say it in a funky way every different time because I get to say it. That means we still on the radio. We still doing this podcast, and it's a blessing to John. It's a blessing to Steph, and it's a blessing to you who watch, who listen, who have participated, who have been a part of this. There are many who are part of what we are doing. There are some who are trying to become a part of it, and hopefully will in due time find a way to work you in, and it's just a wonderful thing. So here is where I do my own rant and my own closing. I always say that I'm gonna try to be brief, and I promise you I will. This song is 6 minutes. My goal is to finish in under that time. January 6th is a day in infamy. You know, we can say 9/11 And if you were alive on 9/11, you know what 9/11 was. If you were alive on Pearl Harbor, you know what Pearl Harbor was. If you were alive on January 6th, you know what January 6th was all about. And January 6th was a day that really, really, really stuck with me. And when I hear people who try to cast aspersions on that day and make it out to be something that it wasn't, and try to change what it was, it just really, 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 really frustrates me. So I'm going to talk about the former vice president of the United States. He was the vice president on January 6, 2021. His name was Mike Pence. He was the vice president. And he says, quote, President Trump was wrong. Pence said this during remarks at the annual White Tie Gridiron dinner attended by politicians and journalists. Quote, I had no right to overturn the election, and his reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day. And I know history will hold Donald Trump accountable. This is what Mike Pence, vice president of the United States at the time, this is what he had to say. And it's funny, right? Because that was 2 years ago. And he just said that this week. Man, fuck out of here. I'm supposed to give you credence because you just saying it now. I don't care that you're a conservative who calls your wife mother. And you so weird with it that your whole existence is just Stepford. Just because you said something that was accurate 2 years after the date. Yeah, I threw shade at you because, come on, man. If anybody else who was under that kind of subject, who was subjected to that kind of badness, where the president of the United States, you're his right-hand man, sent thousands of people towards you who were not looking to have anything good happen for you. And it took you 2 years to say something. Only took Chris Rock a year to say something. Took you 2. I'm not giving you no credit for you just now saying that Donald Trump endangered your family. Like, we had people that was breaking windows and shitting on floors and pulling out all kinds of craziness in the capital of the United States. And we sitting there watching it like it wasn't like, I feel like I'm rambling because I get frustrated because sometimes my thoughts get twisted when I get super passionate over something that is supposed to be obvious. Took you 2 years to say something, 2 years to say something, 2 years to say something. Really? People died that day. Police officers who y'all throw in our faces all the time. Police officers are upstanding citizens and black people who get pulled over and shot in the back and all that kind of stuff, and George Floyd and fentanyl and all the bullshit. He was the vice president. It took him 2 years to condemn the president who sent his minions to the Capitol to kill you. They was walking through the building looking for you, trying to kill you. We saw the video of you slipping down the corridor where the brother stood there and directed the people in the other direction, saving your life. So now we supposed to have a whole feeling about you taking 2 years to talk about how the president at the president of the United States, president of the United States, like it's Donald Trump, and it's hard to take that serious because it's Donald Trump. But he was the president at the time, and I'm going to be there with you. We're going to be there with you. Come on, man. So when I detach myself and say 2 + 2 = 5 people, y'all stay over there. I ain't fooling with y'all. I'm not arguing with y'all. I'm not debating with y'all. I'm not doing none of that with y'all no more. This is the country we live in. This is the country that wants to take the N-word out of Huckleberry Finn because they want to make it so that 100 years from now, when a white man is playing Tupac in a movie, we ain't supposed to blink. Not doing that with y'all. Not doing that with y'all. I'm going to be the one that's going to say something every single time. Mike Pence, you so full of shit. I'm not feeling anything that you putting down. Tucker Carlson wants to show the video that was given to him by the Speaker of the House, who took almost 10 times being voted down before he got the spot. Gives him the video, and he's talking about, oh, it's not that serious. America, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna protect my family, I'm gonna protect the people who I rock with, and I'm gonna tell the truth. And if the truth causes me trouble, then I got to live with the trouble. But I ain't lying. And I'm not arguing with 2 + 2 = 5 people. Tucker Carlson, you a 2 + 2 = 5 person. Mike Pence, you a 2 + 2 = 5 person. Donald Trump, you a 2 + 2 = 1,000,000 person. You lie every time you open your mouth. And we ain't going for it. That's my Marcus's unrelated rant, got nothing to do with what I'm in here talking about tonight. For John, for Steph, and the abundance of water. The fool, I'm gonna give you some fist bumps tonight because I'm feeling it. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. I want to remind everybody to be blessed. I want to remind everybody, give grace. I want to remind everybody, keep it 100. Authenticity has no competition. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are words of Bob Marley, who you did hear singing in the background. I want to say peace to all the stars and all the squares. John, I gave you your piece, but I'll give it to you again. We're celebrating over 11 years of internet radio and live podcasting. We're in our 12th year. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J live from NewDen, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you. Thank you for those who are watching with us live. Thank you. Thank you for those folks who are going to check us out in our live stream. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook Live. All you got to do is go on Facebook and YouTube and search Legacy Internet Radio, and you will find us live. You will find our archives. You'll be able to appreciate anything that we have done, and we appreciate if you would like and share our information so that those folks who you rock with can rock with us, because you rock with us. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J live from NewDen, Legacy Internet Radio. We'll be back live right here from this space next week. Holla at your family. Peace.
Oh yeah, I'm with this, with it. I'm just gonna lay back and I'm gonna drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. About to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready, let's go. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters Talk sprinkled with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call in, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the beat, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk. Steppin' is the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters Talk sprinkled with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call in, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk.
Yeah.